Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy!
Light him up, Colin!
All right, post-week 11 in the NFL, kind of. One more game tonight with the Dallas Cowboys playing on Monday Night Football. But now we can start talking tiebreakers, path to get in, because things are starting to come into place a little bit in terms of the playoff picture for the NFL, and a lot of big reactions that we have from Sunday's slate of games, including Kansas City dropping yet another game post-bye, losing to the Denver Broncos at Mile High, a huge loss on their resume. Another big loss was the Detroit Lions, who lost to Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday Night Football, a pretty anemic game from them offensively. If you're talking about the Detroit Lions laying up a stinker, look no further than what Jared Goff was able to put together in a 16-9 loss at Lincoln Financial. That on top of the Rams getting a big win over the Seattle Seahawks. Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions, and the Rams were able to hold them off. A 61-yard field goal by Jason Myers went wide right. Sam Darnold got them into field goal range, and you got to give him a little credit there. But another bad game for Darnold on his resume in big games. We got a lot to do, a lot to talk about. Should be a lot of fun. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Had a full slate of college football and NFL over the weekend, and we'll break it down for the next 3 hours today. We get the fifth quarter presented by Hard Rock Bets starting at 6 o'clock. We're at the City Place Studios in downtown West Palm Beach, and we're streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X, ESPN West Palm and ESPN South Florida. Mike Rizzo with me at the studio. How are you today? What's
ready to roll, brother? Big weekend of football. We got a beautiful day outside as always.
Yeah, not bad here in South Florida today. I mean, you'll sign up for this any day of the week. 78 degrees and sunny. Starting off, Chiefs lost on the road to the Broncos. And this was another game where one possession, Chiefs had opportunities. Broncos were able to make a couple crucial plays at the end of the game, and they were able to close it out with a field goal as time expired. Now the Chiefs, coming off a bye, lost a one-possession game where they had an opportunity late game against Josh Allen and the Bills. And outside of that, it's been a whole lot of nothing for them because they had chances against Jacksonville. They squandered that. Chiefs now, 5 losses. Are we worried about them, or they still have a chance for you?
I am worried. You start to get worried about some of the teams that could end up in that 7th spot in the playoffs. I mean, it comes down if they could win next week at home against Indianapolis. Now, the Chiefs back against the wall. They've showed us that they could pull it off. I could argue, though, Kyle, that this was a back against the wall game, no? I mean, I really thought that this was a do-or-die game for Kansas City.
They needed this game, especially post-bye.
Kept hearing on how, these games, this is a trap. The Kansas City always wins these kind of games. I actually bet against them. I faded them. I took the Broncos getting 3.5 at home, a team that won 7 games in a row, now 8. It gets interesting because you look at the teams that are in right now with the Chargers sitting at 6. You look at Jacksonville, who had a huge win this week. I mean, Colin, we'll touch on it a little later on, but Jacksonville had their best win in arguably 3-4 years.
That was the best win I've seen since week 15 against the Texans in 2022, maybe.
And now with Kansas City losing to Denver, they're probably not winning that division. My best guess is that the avenue to the playoffs is going to be that 7th spot. All of a sudden, Houston's 5-5, Jacksonville 6-4, and I think a sleeper team is that second AFC North team. If it be Pittsburgh and if it be Baltimore. Listen, Baltimore's winning ugly, but they keep winning football games too. So Baltimore, Houston, Jacksonville, Chargers. Those are the teams right now who I would probably put
and Buffalo
ahead of Kansas City. Those teams have put together a better resume than Kansas City. I don't want to hear about you. I'll hear about Kansas City if they beat Indianapolis next week. Let's circle back around to Kansas City after that game. If they go 5-6 and they lose Indianapolis, then yeah, I am truly doomsdaying. But right now, it doesn't look good for them. It doesn't look good, Kyle.
The one thing you got to consider with Kansas City, too, if you're thinking about tiebreakers, they still have one more to play against the Chargers, but they've lost head-to-head to the Chargers already. They've lost to Jacksonville head-to-head already. They've lost to Buffalo head-to-head. That was 2 weeks ago. I mean, those are crucial tiebreaker games, and they still have a game in 3 weeks against the Houston Texans. It's going to be at Arrowhead, but with the Texans right there behind them, right now next to them, I should say, in terms of record, that game will have major playoff implications too if either of those two parties were to get an opportunity to sneak into the playoffs. The Kansas City, if you're going to be a middling team, that 10-win mark where teams missed playoffs before, if you're going to be at 10 wins, you need tiebreakers, and they don't have any that are of note right now. That I would be a little nervous about. And outside of our home field, they have not played well in a late game situation. And Patrick Mahomes has not played too well at all. Offensively, they've been up and down at best. I'm worried about them officially. What do they get? If the number is 10, I mean, you need a lot to happen if you're Kansas City. I don't want to go through the entire schedule, but they got the Colts next week. They still got the Cowboys, Texans, Chargers, Broncos still. So they have to play their whole division again. And on top of that, they got to play on Thanksgiving night. They got to play the Colts, who are coming off a bye. It's not easy. That's not easy. And the Colts are coming off a bye. That's not an easy game either.
Mm-hmm.
I'm nervous officially. If the number is 10, they still might not get in. They need 11 gets you in.
Texas,
and they're 5-5.
Texans and Chargers are two teams that are ahead of them right now too. So if you're Kansas City, that's why I keep saying, hey, go out and beat Indianapolis. Go out and beat an 8-2 Indianapolis next week, and let's have a conversation about you getting back into the playoffs. But right now, I think it'd be foolish not to be worried about them. And that game on Sunday, to me, proved that they're not going to win the division for the first time since 2015. 2015 was the last time they did not secure victory in the AFC West and hang a banner. That's crazy.
Yeah, Kansas City losing that game. It was uncharacteristic, but, last year when they won every single one-possession game as close as it gets, basically 14-0, I believe, in those one-score games, they haven't won a single one this year. They have not been good in a single game, single possession, need-to-have-it drive where everybody, I think if we were to draft it, everybody would want Patrick Mahomes in that scenario, and he's been the one who hasn't been very good in these situations. And I think you got to give some flack to Andy Reid, too, not having that team ready to play offensively after a bye week, playing at Denver. Denver, mind you, who was down Surtain, who was down Alex Singleton, who was down J.K. Dobbins, who was going into the game kind of hobbled with Bo Nix at quarterback. They're not scoring in the 20s. And that's what you put up. Not great. Not great if you're Kansas City. Situationally. Are they dead? No. If I were to place a bet today, I'd lean on the side of outside looking in if I'm Kansas City.
And if you look at these other teams in the NFL that are ahead of them, they've played better football, right? I know Jacksonville.
They've lost them head to head too.
Correct, and that's where I was going next. Call was Jacksonville. All right, maybe they've looked better than Jacksonville in moments, but
they need to get 2 games better than Jacksonville.
People are probably going, "Oh, they look better in Jacksonville." Well, guess where you lost that game? You lost that game on the road. So that's why you got to punish Kansas City at this point. Beat Indianapolis next week, and we could have a conversation. Go out and beat the team right now that's the 3rd seed in the AFC at 8-2. 2 teams with 2 losses in the AFC with the Patriots, the Broncos, and the Colts. And then obviously the Pats and the Broncos sitting at 9-2, and the Colts idle off a bye week.
Yeah, the other thing is we're probably giving the Chargers a little too much credit, sitting at 7-4, but they got the Raiders next week, but they got a tough schedule to finish off as well. They finish off with the Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys, Texans, and Broncos consecutively.
They need 3, right?
The number's 10.
They need 3.
The number's 10.
That's why, I don't even. Obviously, they're still in the conversation sitting in the 6th seed, Kyle. But they need 3 to comparatively Kansas City needing 5. It's a big difference in this league. It's a huge difference with the competitiveness of the NFL and the parity.
And but the Charger-Chief game, which is coming up in a couple of weeks, December 14th, that will be a crucial game as well, because then you go to divisional record, which, mind you, the Chargers have played great at because they already beat Denver, and they've beaten the Raiders. On the other side of things, Kansas City in the division is 1-2. Chargers, 1-2, the best they could get is 4-2, and that's if they go undefeated. Chargers are already 3-0. They need 1.
Let me ask you this off of Kansas City.
That's a tiebreak. Go ahead.
Is it good in your eyes for the league to not have Kansas City in the playoffs?
I love it.
I do too.
Kansas City's eyes are on the Chargers the last couple games because they could also control their own destiny in some capacity there, and their eyes are on Jacksonville because Jacksonville can totally blow up and fall below to get to 9 wins, and all of a sudden it's takeable. If Jacksonville gets to 10 wins, they're right now at 6-4. If they get to 10 wins, Kansas City is likely not getting to that 11 mark. They're probably not going, 6-1 to finish the year. They're probably not doing that. But if all of a sudden Jacksonville were to drop a bad game to Tennessee, which could totally happen, then Kansas City would be thinking about a playoff spot. They might not be in the postseason. Good. This is like when the Patriots finally missed the postseason. Now we had to wait till Brady left, but this is great, I think, for football. This is great. That you're going to have some new suspects because why? Because that wild card weekend is going to be very interesting. You're going to have teams like Buffalo going on the road first weekend. And all of a sudden, that game where, last year we were talking about the Broncos going to Buffalo and getting killed by 50 points. Instead, you got Buffalo going to maybe Denver. And all of a sudden, that game is still interesting because Buffalo is a proven postseason team. That's why that's fun. Yeah. If all of a sudden, I don't think there's going to be an AFC North wildcard bid, but if there is, then you could look at that team too. If it's Baltimore. Baltimore's probably going to get a home playoff game. But I think the AFC playoffs, as it stands today, are in a very interesting spot. Because now you got Kansas City, who is playing catch-up, and everybody knows that everybody in the league is on notice that Kansas City needs to win basically every game in the rest remaining on their schedule. I'm worried about them. I am.
And on that AFC playoff picture, Kyle, Denver, if they get that 1 seed, it's a hell of a home field advantage.
Yeah, they're
mile high is a home field advantage.
Yeah, but they're worried about they have a tougher schedule than the Patriots. Patriots have an easy schedule. Denver still has to deal with the Packers. They still have to deal with the Jags. They still have to deal with the Chiefs and the Chargers.
They're winning like the Eagles right now. Not doing it offensively, but doing it with great defense. They're kind of defying the odds in the way they're winning some of these games. I mean, go back to that Vegas game, the Raider game. It's one of the worst games you ever see. They won. This past week against Kansas City, the offense looked anemic again. But all of a sudden, Bo Nix in the fourth quarter, Kyle, the minute 23 to go, Bo Nix is at the 50, orchestrating a game-winning drive. They're doing things to win. They're doing to win these tight football games. It's impressive. I know the offense isn't the flashy, and when I say flashy, I always go back to the early Mahomes years. Tyreek Hill, 400 yards, 350 yards. They're not winning like that. They're winning with defense and good scenario, putting themselves in good scenarios at the end of the game, and that you got to give them some credit there. I mean, with 8 wins in a row speaks for itself. I mean, geez, they were 1-2. And can you imagine if they beat Indianapolis and didn't jump the center and in the final snap of week 2? This would be a 10-win ball club.
Week 1, I believe, yeah.
It'd be a 10-win ball club, Kyle.
Yeah, not good. Nah, but the thing about them is I wouldn't trust them in a playoff game. 100 years. I would not touch them in a playoff game. They get destroyed in the playoffs last year.
Who do you trust in the playoffs on the AFC side? I think that's the question you got to ask. Because Buffalo,
I would trust the new guys. Yeah. The Patriots and the Colts 100 times over before I trust Denver. I would. Because I like and that sounds weird to say. It's inexperience all over. But, May in a big game, at least you've seen him beat teams. And you've seen him, Knicks has got that gamer mentality, but they beg to lose. Now, Denver's got a better defense than both those other teams, but both those other teams have better offenses. I think I just lean the offense in that regard because the offense is going to need to win you a game eventually.
By the way, New England, 8 wins in a row for themselves as well. So, if I'm going to sit here and give flowers to Denver, you got to do the same thing with what the Patriots have been able to do in Drake.
At a certain point, you got to shut up about Denver. I still don't trust them.
I like them, Kyle. I can't lie. I like the defense.
I took them as an over. I love it. I'm going to hit my over next week. But the way I looked at it is they flirt with losing too much. And Kansas City got away with that last year because Kansas City's Kansas City. And they're that good in the playoffs, and they have Hall of Famers everywhere. I mean, Denver doesn't really have that. Denver's, R.J. Harvey and Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton here and there and Troy Franklin. So outside of that, I mean, we're relying on that defense to keep them in ball games. When it's going to be push comes to shove time in the postseason, I don't know if I'm still there with Denver because they haven't played the most impossible teams. They played the Raiders. They had that terrible game in London against the Jets. They played the Giants. It hasn't been that hard for Denver. In regard to the other side of things, where the Eagles, you mentioned them, the Eagles have played everybody. We'll get to them in a couple minutes. But Denver, I mean, at a certain point, you got to shut up about them, and I think I'm one of them. And I don't trust them, but you get 9-2 right now. You're 2 games away from a postseason bid. Their next 2 are the Commanders and the Raiders, who are both reeling.
I like the defense. I like the coach, even though I think Peyton's a little overrated on the offensive side, Kyle. I like the defense. I like the coach. And the word I was looking for the Broncos earlier, folks, was situational football. They're always in the right situation at the end of the game for a chance to win the game. The defense always gets off the field with about 3 minutes left to go and gives Bo Nix a chance. and that team to kick a game-winning field goal. There's something about it. And we could sit here and talk about the one-score games, fine. Kansas City's losing their one-score games. Denver's winning them. But at some point, you're right. People do have to start buying in, but I'm going to buy in early, especially if they're able. And their schedule's hard. Fine.
Early 9-2.
Their schedule. They got a hard schedule in the year. Fine. Especially if they get that 1 seed too, and they're hosting teams at Mile High, they will be a tough out. And listen,
I have a hard time seeing them get that 1 seed, but maybe.
And put some quarterbacks on the road at Mile High.
Colts also have the head-to-head. Keep that in mind.
So jump to center.
I agree. Don't look at me. I wanted that game more than anybody.
This is why the NFL is great, because situations like that might come down to who gets home field. And obviously they both got to keep winning ball games, Kyle. I like the new teams. I do. To answer my own question earlier, Kyle, about Kansas City, leave them out. I'm done with them. We're chiefed out. We said this years ago. I'm completely fine with Jacksonville getting in and the Chiefs being left out.
We got a long way to go, but those are who. If you're Kansas City, your eyes are on Jacksonville and your eyes are on the Chargers, because you still have the Chargers head-to-head. You could always do a leapfrog game when you have to play them in 3 weeks. And Jacksonville is classic build of a team with a first-year head coach and a shaky quarterback and a lot of injuries. That's totally a team that could blow up in their own face. And that's after a game where Jacksonville probably played the best football I've seen them play in years. And I'm a Jacksonville fan. They were excellent yesterday, and they really responded hard after a blown game, probably one of the worst losses I've ever seen the franchise at. That's how you know the coach is a good coach. But outside of that, I digress. Kansas City, outside looking in on the AFC playoff picture, we might have seen the end of this dynasty. I don't know, I want to be hyperbolic, but if they miss that postseason, you're going to see some changes there. I don't know if that team's going to completely reload the way they are. They don't have a lot of talent on the skill positions. They got Russo Rizzo sitting there, but, offensively, they're not that good. They're not that good. And you wonder if Andy Reid will still continue doing it, if Andy Reid will eventually hang him up. I'm not saying this is marking his retirement, but, Andy Reid and Travis Kelce are not going to play forever. They're not going to do this forever.
They haven't drafted well either, Kyle.
They never have a good draft pick, but yes.
But at the same time, first-round picks, first-round talent.
You're right. Xavier Worthy's been okay at best, very rarely available.
Rice has struggled off the field.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. They have not. They defensively they develop talent very well, but offensively they haven't been able to get that next consistent fiddle post Tyreek Hill, and they've gotten away with it, and now it's starting to burn them. I'm okay with it. 888-760-3776. Do you want the Chiefs in the postseason as that last spot because that makes the game probably better, or are you as chiefed out as the rest of us? 888-760-3776. Go start your day with a victory at F45. Get up in the morning if you want to get a sweat going, turn your brain off. 45 minutes in and out. It's a class-style type of working out. It's high-intensity interval training, which means that they got 2 coaches on site. They got a bunch of like-minded fitness individuals who want to show up to class in the morning or in the afternoon. You could show up, turn your brain off, follow along the instructions on the screen, and all of a sudden, it's a mobile workout. You get your sweat going, making sure that you feel good. You're not just stiff like the classic Olympic style of lifting. I love F45 because of those reasons. Train for something like HIRES with F45. Go check out a studio near you online at F45, or check out their Instagram right here in downtown West Palm Beach, F45 downtown West Palm Beach. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat. We'll get into the Eagles and that game against the Lions in Sunday Night Football yesterday, and also a little Sam Darnold, who has now played another bad game in a big spot. A lot to do. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
For nearly 30 years, Jay Zolo and Associates has helped local businesses harness the full power of QuickBooks. This holiday season, they're thankful for the confidence their clients place in them year after year. From setup and cleanup to troubleshooting, management, and personalized QuickBooks training, Jay Zolo brings clarity and reliability to your financial process. Jay Zolo makes QuickBooks work the way it should for the way you work. Visit jzolo.com to learn more. That's jzollo.com.
Hey guys, Mike Rizzo here. I know you're moving soon. Don't stress it. Call Good Greek for your total relocation solution. From packing and storage to local and long-distance moves, Spiro and his team at Good Greek Moving and Storage has you covered from start to finish. Trusted by families, businesses, and teams like the Heat and the Hurricanes for over 2 decades. Make your next move simple, safe, and stress-free.
Good Greek Moving and Storage. Your superhero movers.
Kaiser University's flagship campus. The 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 26 national championships, including back-to-back-to-back lacrosse titles, and they just won their first ever national championship for men's tennis. Visit KUCHawks.com for the latest on the championship flagship campus of Kaiser University.
Banyan Printing. For 47 years, the trusted partner for all your printing, mailing, and signage needs. And 2025 just brought something big to Banyan. Introducing Banyan's new press. Bigger, faster, and more competitively priced than anything you'll find anywhere in the Palm Beaches. Think variable data postcards, bulk mailings, and high-quality print on stocks up to a 24-point board. Banyan Printing. Visit banyanonline.com and discover how your business's printing materials can get bigger and better.
Hi, I'm Michael Manzo, owner and founder of Manzo's Italian Deli, and
Stop, Dad. After 20 years, people are tired of hearing your voice.
Yeah, and your lame-ass commercials.
Fresh prosciutto, mozzarella, outstanding.
Oh, please.
There's only one reason Manzo's is voted #1 deli in Palm Beach County for 20 years. Our mother.
She makes sure you prepare everything from scratch using only the freshest ingredients.
Manzo's Italian Deli is located on Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, right next to Rain Dancers.
Is that a strip club?
No, it's a steakhouse. Manzo's is open weekdays from 8 to 5 and offers free delivery. So stop by or call 697-9411. That's 697-9411.
we also specialize in hot and cold catering for corporate functions and special events.
Just ask anyone who was at my last birthday party.
Oh, na, na, what's my name? Oh, na, na, what's my name?
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
Well, James Franklin has found a new home. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo. If you've been in a car accident, truck accident, suffered a slip and fall, an accident of any kind, my friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys are the type that like to fight for you. They don't even charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve. Don't settle for just any attorney. Demand the best. Demand Anajar and Levine, because that's the difference. Take that one phone call and take back control of your life. Don't wait. Call for the free consultation today. Call 1-800-747-FREE. 1-800-747-3733. Take back control with Anajar and Levine. So it was reported over the weekend by Pete Thamel of ESPN College Football that James Franklin was in flirtations with Virginia Tech, and we have waited a little bit. Sources now confirm, according to that aforementioned Pete Thamel, that Virginia Tech and James Franklin are finalizing an agreement to become the school's next head coach. Franklin, who, by the way, won 128 games over 15 seasons as the head coach at Vanderbilt and Penn State. Guy fresh off a college football playoff appearance, and now he goes to a Virginia Tech team that has had one winning season since 2020. One winning season. They have not won over 7 games, or excuse me, won over 8 games since 2016. And the last time they won over 10 was back in 2011 when Beamer was in town. So it's been quite a bit. James Franklin now takes over the reins there. You like this hire for Virginia Tech?
I do. I think Virginia Tech's been struggling to find the guy since Frank Beamer. They had Fuente in there. They had Pry in there. Obviously, those guys weren't the guys you mentioned, the struggles that they've been able to have since Beamer. You know, Beamer stepped down back in 2015. That was a proud team when I was growing up, Kyle. You know, when I was in middle school, and I mean, they were the class out of the ACC more often than not at Virginia Tech. So I like the hire. It gets them back on track. I think Franklin, you know, we were talking to Christian Catt, our producer in the break, who big Penn State guy. Franklin probably learned a lot during his time during Penn State. He's probably going to try a couple of different things. There's one thing Franklin could do. He can find talent. He's going to get talent there. He's going to get good players there. You saw it at Penn State with Barkley, Parsons, McSorley and company. So I love the hire. A team who has been struggling to get back to relevance is probably going to align themselves in a couple of years to make the college football playoff. That's
what you're looking for. There was an obvious, I think, understanding that James Franklin probably wasn't going to be upgraded to the SEC. I wouldn't have been terribly surprised if he did a lateral move in the Big Ten. But the ACC seemed like the most logical move for him in his career. What does he want to do? If he is really interested in shutting Penn State up, then yeah, going to the ACC and getting yourself opportunities at the playoff, all you got to do is win that league. It's a little different in the Big Ten. You got to win 10, 11 games. You got to make sure that you have a couple big wins on the schedule. ACC, you could get in with a favorable ACC and conference schedule, and you could also get in just by getting into that championship game when there's maybe a two-bid year for the ACC. And in a year, next year, where Clemson might not be any good, Florida State probably not going to be any good. I mean, how many Heisman potential quarterbacks can Miami bring in before something changes? I mean, the ACC is pretty takeable. And if you're James Franklin, you're Virginia Tech, this is an easy move for me. I wonder what the money is and see how much Penn State's on the books for, because they, according to the contract, pay the remainder of the buyout minus what his new contract is going to be. So we'll see how much they're still on the books for with James Franklin. But I like this hire as well. I think this is he could win that league. He could win that league next year.
I think I like what you said there, because I think Franklin looks at the ACC and goes, my God, I could easily win this conference year in and year out. And are there maybe trap games in the ACC? I just tend to believe all the teams are kind of floating around the same level, right? I think Miami, they're kind of at the mercy of a head coach who's allergic to big moments and a quarterback right now, Carson Beck, that's just, is making a lot of turnovers. But I do think Franklin looks at the ACC and goes, wow, I could probably win that conference year in and year out. And listen, Virginia Tech, from 2004 to 2010, they won that league 4 times. All right, Beamer won it in 2004. He won it in 2007, 2008, and 2010. And not to mention Coach Beamer also won in 95, 96, 99 when they were in the Big East. So this is a rich tradition football team. Like, I know they've been bad for 2 decades almost at this point, a decade and a half at this point. But this is I almost said organization. It's basically an organization, Cal. This is a school who's a very prideful bunch. And I think this gets them back on track immediately.
Geographically, it makes a lot of sense, too. A lot of the guys Franklin was probably going after when he was at Penn State, yes, he was looking at the Northeast. That was sort of his foothold. But he's also looking at the Virginia. He's looking in these states that are rich in football talent with not a big powerhouse that kind of plucks every single piece there. Penn State was perfect for that, but he's going to get a lot of Pennsylvania guys because he knows all those coaches. And he knows a lot of those Northeast connections, and he's bringing it just a little further south to Virginia, where the University of Virginia is there, but they have a lot of academic standards that they have to deal with. Virginia Tech is a team where you can get kids in. Mm-hmm. This is a doable turnaround project. James Franklin could not have upgraded after Penn State. That would have been the bad move. If he were to take a steady Penn State level or above, bad move. He's going below here, but it's still reachable and attainable to make the playoffs.
Who's the Ohio State in the ACC? Who's the Michigan of, from 2021 to 2024? There's none of those guys. There's no big dog right now in the ACC. Franklin could go in there, start barking up a tree, and immediately become the big dog. I thought Miami was going to be it this year. They're on the outside looking in after 2 bad losses. So, that's what I think the realistic conversation Franklin had with, number one, his family, his coaching staff, and everybody surrounding there, is that we could turn this into the household name in the ACC.
Quickly, too. And think about the ACC for a second. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but we can't forget how many coach openings are going to be available at the end of the year. You got Florida sitting there. You got Penn State sitting there. You have LSU. All these guys are going to demand big upgrades, probably, maybe for some group of 5 coaches, but definitely for 1 or 2 ACC coaches. 1 or 2 are getting those big-time upgrades. If Drinkwitz leaves Mizzou's going to be a big job that perhaps an ACC's coach can go to. Then you're looking at the Jeff Brohms of the world, the Fran Browns of the world at Syracuse. Guys like that who might shift and upgrade to get out of their current situations in the ACC and move onward elsewhere. So I think in terms of other schools perhaps taking a step back, the ACC right now is a grab it and run situation. Rhett Lashley at SMU, he could get another job somewhere. I'm not sure if he will. He's at a nice private school, but that's another one. So these are coaches that could always shift out. This is a great hire for Virginia Tech. It makes sense for both sides. I wonder if he had his eye on Florida State, and if that would potentially open at one point. Still ACC, bigger in-state presence. I wonder if he was looking at
Florida,
that. But they want to put together rosters when that transfer window opens, which is in, 2 weeks?
Right.
So he needs to set his staff, and then he's going to be ready to attack the transfer portal because they're probably looking at next year.
And I think Florida State's still evaluating if they want Norvell back or not. They're in the process of evaluating if he should be the head coach or not.
Well, that's probably what he was looking at.
Right.
And if you're Penn State or Florida State, frankly, made a lot of sense because you don't have to pay a buyout to get him on board. Now, if you're going to get a current head coach, you got to pay his buyout. That makes it problematic for them getting rid of Norvell. I'm not saying that was the only way they could have done it, but if Florida State did have their eyes on Franklin, just got a whole lot harder to get rid of Norvell because it's expensive.
Well, remember, and if I can, Christian, I want to bring you in for this because this is immediately what I thought of when Virginia Tech hired James Franklin. When Franklin was on game day, what was that, 4 weeks ago, he said, the goal is always to win a national championship. Now it's just going to be somewhere else. Is that somewhere else Virginia Tech, Christian?
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, I would be shocked to see Virginia Tech in a national championship game, let alone win one. So, but the path can be made. Who cares? But no, it's not going to be Virginia Tech. I think that he can do good enough in Virginia Tech and raise the standard there well enough and deliver some 10-2, 9-3 seasons in succession, and then fool a very desperate team in either the Big Ten or the SEC to get him another marquee job, and then the ceiling raises up. But then it's the Franklin thing, so who knows?
How do you feel as a Penn State fan to see him find a new home?
Very happy for him. Very happy it's not a marquee job. That's what I would say. Because
you guys, listen, Virginia Tech's a solid job, guys. It's not Ohio State, it's not Alabama, but Tech is, guys.
Virginia Tech is better.
It's a proud school.
It's better than a lot of lower tier SEC schools.
It really is.
It's probably the worst realistic vacant job, right?
It's better than Arkansas.
Yep, I'd agree with that.
I wouldn't.
Yes. How can it? Historically, remember all those things I rattled off that Coach
Would you rather
Beamer.
be Arkansas in that hellhole of a conference where everybody else is great, or would you rather be Virginia Tech where you could only go up? That's what I would say.
I know there's a lot of money in Arkansas, and I've seen the ceiling of Arkansas be higher than the ceiling of Virginia Tech.
I mean, that's fine, but hold on. First of all, Arkansas' ceiling has not been as high in at least the last 20 years. But the one thing I would say on top of that is Franklin has had money before. It's the problem was the big game.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he doesn't want to play the big team. This is a dodge. This is perfect for that.
I think that James Franklin will have learned from his failures at Penn State.
So now he's going to all start win big games?
I genuinely think that he will sacrifice and risk losing small games in order to greater the chance at winning big games, because now he realized how much more valuable that is, and it's worth the risk of using practice time in the week leading up to a bad team for instead preparing for the better team that's a month down the road.
Him and Cristobal will be a fun matchup. Talk about two coaches that are kind of allergic to a big game. Now, give credit to Cristobal. He beat Notre Dame, but the problem is he lost to SMU and he loses to Louisville at home. So we're right back where we started at the beginning of the year with Mario.
I think Mario Cristobal has the opposite problem.
What's that?
Like, Mario Cristobal is prevented from going to the big game unless it's scheduled in his calendar like Notre Dame was, like Florida was last year, because of losing the small games. Franklin does all the work to get to those big games and then falls flat immediately.
Fair enough.
That's what I would say. I think they're inverse.
It's a good shout. I just say, Colin, with the coaches that are currently in the ACC, I look at Franklin, and it's hard for me not to say, let's give Dabo his respect. But, as they say in Godfather, the Don is getting old. The Dabo, the chinks in the armor are there. I look at Franklin and go, wow, he might be the best coach in that conference right now before even coaching a game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a better job than a lot of Big Ten and SEC schools. Okay, a handful. Not a lot, but a handful. I think that's fair to say. You want to think the conference is not a sinking ship. I don't think that's the case. It's too good in basketball. It's too good in other sports. And it's too good academically for the conference to be in a really bad spot.
We got to have a conversation about football, though, because it seems like a year. Remember, guys, the first 5 weeks are going, okay, the ACC could get 3. Now it's like, oh, my God. The conference winner is lucky to be invited at this point. I think that's the issue right now. Big Ten's going to get, at least in my opinion, and what I heard from Colin our pre-show meeting, we think Big Ten's going to get 3, SEC anywhere from 4 to 5, depending on who has 2 losses. So, and if you're the ACC with one team and your big dogs in Clemson, Miami, and Florida State all kind of mudded at the moment, it's a tough look. Football's a moneymaker. Unless you're the Big East Conference, right, who's got the elites of the UConn and I know Nova has a big good, but you get what I'm saying. Unless you're the Big East, the bread and butter for schools is football. So, that's why that's the problem with the ACC right now. You got to start figuring out the most lucrative part of your conference in college football.
I mean, the thing is, those schools do fine. They sell out. People go to Virginia Tech.
Well, what I'm saying is get your teams in the big dance.
I mean, fine, yeah, I get it. But the thing about it that I think is the reason for this is the teams that actually are looking for the playoff going into the year, they're the ones that schedule tough games out of conference, and they're the games that have disappointed to this point this year. Miami scheduled a good out-of-conference schedule, but they actually lost the in-conference schedule. Clemson, always playing tough out-of-conference games, but they stunk in conference, and the team fell flat on their face this year. The team that has surprised people, Georgia Tech still has to play Georgia, but, Virginia and Pitt, Pitt has Notre Dame, but a bunch of schools that don't necessarily have the out-of-body work consistently to hold the candle to SEC schools.
And, boys, when I say, ACC get to the big dance, they did that last year. They had 2 teams, okay? Problem is SMU was a disgrace, and Clemson lost by 2 scores. Was one of the better games of the first round? Fine, but he still lost by 2 scores to a Texas team. So, be competitive when you get there. That's the next step for the ACC, and I think James Franco going to Virginia Tech helps. I do. I think it helps the conference get more respect on it.
I don't trust him to win a big game for my life still. He could get them to the playoff. That's the goal. If he gets them to a couple playoffs, that's a win.
10-2 with
Gold
losses to teams that we assume will not be as bad as they are right now. If he goes 10-2 with losses to a top 15 Clemson and a top 20 Florida State, is he going to be in the playoff?
You're assuming that Clemson would be top 15 and Florida State would be top 20?
Yeah.
I'm not assuming that.
I'm not either.
Okay, then substitute Miami in for one of those teams in those situations.
They would not get in. No, they would not get in. The level has changed. He could do that at Penn State and get in. ACC, you need one loss. One loss. Because one loss will get you in. One loss in conference, because that'll get you to the conference championship game. Yep. His path is not at large. His path is winning the conference.
Which is funny because I think it's common knowledge now that if you're not talking about the elite teams, I think the ACC has a more arduous middle class to lower middle class than the Big Ten has. So I think that
I agree with you.
If he were to have that resume as an ACC team at Virginia Tech, with his only losses being to top 15 teams in the ACC, Miami, Clemson, Florida State, a conglomeration of them, I think he's earned more in the ACC by doing that than a Big Ten team having the same record with losses against a Ohio State and a Michigan.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that point at all. I really don't. The problem is the ACC, to me, these schools don't just lose the big game on the schedule. They slip and fall when they shouldn't. NC State comes in and smacks you around. It's not like
there's no consistency.
They're not losing to the top team in the conference every single week. That's the one thing I would say in defense of that. But I understand the point. The ACC has got a bunch of pretty good teams. There are no doubt about that.
My pushback to what you said, Christian, is that Illinois played Duke and completely blew the doors off of them. So, if you're comparing it to Purdue, absolutely. Purdue's one of the lesser Big Ten teams in the conference. I just think all these teams are the same. They're very mediocre, and any team could beat each other any given Saturday. There's not the powerhouse. I think we all agree on that. I just think the conference in general is in a bad spot right now because they don't have the top.
I think Virginia. I think you're not giving enough. I think Virginia and Georgia Tech are both pretty good. I do.
I think compared to
a war against Boston College over the weekend. I was watching that game from the beginning to end.
Compared to the top
worst
dogs
team in the ACC as well.
The problem is those guys are the top dogs in the conference this year. You know what I mean? And compare it to the top dogs in the Big Ten and the SEC, I don't think it's comparable. No?
He just said he's comparing the middle of the pack.
Yeah, so I'm saying if your losses are against the top 2 teams in the conference, I guess the way of which those losses happen certainly do matter, but you prove more by beating the ACC's middle class than you do to the Big Ten's middle and lower.
What tells you enough about the ACC's top end that the ACC is only going to get one bid? It's because they don't have the top end talent. But as a whole, ACC's having a halfway decent year. Halfway decent. It's just they don't have a lot of top-end teams. That's fine.
To where it's like hurting the conference by having a bunch of reputable teams. It'd be better for the ACC if Virginia Tech, or if all these second half of the conference were bad so that it didn't slip up the Miami.
The SEC is also having a really, really strong year. 5 teams is probably not going to happen too often. There's even paths for maybe 6, but 5 teams is probably going to get in for the SEC. I think that hurts the ACC more so than the ACC hurts themselves. It's just the SEC is that much better, and they're going to get the extra piece. And there's also teams in the Big Ten that could still steal a spot. Big Ten's probably looking at 3 at the moment, but ACC 1, Big 12 probably 1, Group of 5 1, Notre Dame. Then you got 8 others, 5 and 3.
I've likened the ACC to a boxing gym that is a bunch of bad dudes, bad in a good way, tough dudes, just hard hitters. That when you're sparring, getting ready for a fight, they are not holding punches. And this guy you're prepping for a marquee main event fight, he gets knocked out by a sparring partner. And now he's not going into that prized main event fight 100% because he's going through so much to get there, where it feels like the ACC are not propping up their own. They're not holding punches to Miami.
So, yeah, all right, so we should let the big-time teams win just so the conference looks a little better.
It would be in the ACC's best interest financially, too, yeah.
Right now, and obviously this was last week, so we got to wait for the new week to come out. Like, Virginia was the lone team they had projected in, and they would play Ole Miss.
Right.
I think Ole Miss would win that pretty significantly.
All right, but what are you saying? The ACC is not good?
I don't think the ACC is good at all.
Yeah,
I think Miami fell on their face, lost games that they shouldn't, and shame on them. I don't need to see Virginia play a game. I don't need to see them in the playoff this year, guys. Like, I got to be completely honest. I think Texas Tech is better than anything in the ACC right now.
Texas Tech's going to get in.
That's right, but that's what I mean. A Big 12 team, the best of the Big 12 right now is better than the best of the ACC. That's a problem. That's a problem for their conference.
I mean, sure, but what's your solution here? I mean, they're going to get in. They should get in. They deserve to get in. That's part of the parity of college football. That's why
I guess I'm disagreeing with the whole take of the ACC. Just a bunch of pretty good teams. Actually, might not be any
exactly
good
what we
teams
just said.
at all. I don't think there's any good teams at all.
Right,
and I think they're playing each other.
Now you're being unfair.
I think they're all playing
You're looking
each
at
other.
this with Ohio State goggles. Either they're as good as Ohio State or they stink.
Does an ACC team win in the college football playoff? The answer is no.
I mean, yeah, okay.
And then I'm sorry, guys, that's what you judge your conference on nowadays. That's why these coaches are getting fired, and that's why schools are taking a zero tolerance to you not doing good in the regular season. They want to have success in the playoff.
Mike, there are 3 teams that they get blown out in the college football playoff. You know that? There's 3.
But you got to at least get there. So the ACC's failing that. They're getting there out of a pity for the winner of the conference.
Right,
and then you're not going to get it automatic, and then you're probably going to get smacked in that first round. That's an issue. That's all I'm trying to say. And I just don't think comparatively to, and you can say the Big Ten's top-heavy, fine, but those top-heavy teams are pretty damn good.
But I think we also had a broken seating situation.
Big Ten defense. It always circles.
I mean, Ohio State, as much as I can't stand Indiana, Indiana's a good team.
Bring them up. Don't continue, Christian.
I do think
2 touchdowns any team in that league.
We can write off a lot of the results we got from last year's playoff due to the seeding mistake and adjustment that was made for this year, giving wrong teams buys to the second round. I think that you cannot make a generalization based off of last year.
That's fine.
Mike loves doing that, by the way. Loves it. You love determining the opinion on this year because of last year.
You're telling me, but the big point I'm trying to make is the ACC won't win a game in the playoff.
I think Georgia Tech could totally be a pain in the rear end for any team.
I disagree. Completely disagree. They were dead by rights to a 5-loss Clemson team and almost lost to a 1-9 Boston College team.
That's what they do.
Okay, well,
A&M was dead by rights to a 3-win South Carolina team.
1-6 in conference, South Carolina. They were losing 30-3 at half.
I understand that, but that team's better than what is advertised with the record. Would we not agree?
It's absolutely.
Sellers played the best half of his career. He was
awful
in that first half.
He was awful in the second half. He was
agreed.
He was awful.
Agreed, but that's the kind of talent that South Carolina has. I put that more on Beamer, who took a victory lap at halftime.
Sellers was so bad.
But Beamer taking a victory lap at halftime was also an awful look.
Sellers, terrible. That guy will not be an NFL quarterback. Oh, my gosh. He will be a transfer to a very good team next year. That's probably what.
Miami. I got. I got one of those fake verified accounts.
That Lenora Sellers going to Miami?
That he was sitting out the rest of the season and was targeted to go to Miami. And I thought that was true for like 48 hours, to where when I saw South Carolina up 27-3, I go to my dad, I'm like, wow, without Sellers, huh? I thought that for a long time. Then he just threw a touchdown. I was like, wait,
can I add? Does Miami not recruit quarterbacks? Do they not recruit quarterbacks?
Transfers are better than freshmen.
What I'm saying is, where are the guys you recruited? Like, where are the guys you're grooming through the system?
Well, those guys would just be plucked from somebody else, like from them to somewhere else.
Hey, you want a guy for this year or in 3 years? Guys don't sit around for 3 years anymore. It's just not the situation.
As a Penn State fan, I wish that was Penn State's model, and maybe it will be going forward because you just put in a lot of stock and investment in paying a guy NIL money before he's really earning it on the field. And that happened with Drew Aller, and that happened pre-NIL with Sean Clifford.
Because you have so much money attached to them. If you're going to put a couple million into a quarterback, if you're a college football team, you want it to somebody that's experienced. You don't want to do that. You don't want to play this game. That's why they had to play Bryce Underwood, and he's the number one player in the class, paying him $5-10 million. You have to play him. That's why it's a problem. If the guy's not any good because he's 18 years old and he's in a big game, you can't blame the kid, but you almost have to play him because of the money attached to him. Which is why if we have a $6 million budget for a quarterback, would you rather the junior transfer from North Texas, or would you rather the kid who has not played college football before? I think that's an easy answer. That's just the new age. It's weird.
Yeah, Miami's going to be like how Oklahoma was looked at in the past in terms of Oklahoma would just have the quarterback guru there and have we make Heisman winners. Miami makes millionaires. And you know what? Those are very comparable if you're talking to a 17-year-old kid.
And this is purely theoretical because Lenore Sellers still plays for South Carolina. But do you even want Sellers if you're a Canes fan?
You can fix him.
You can fix him?
He had a good year last year, beat Clemson.
Mario Cristobal can fix him?
Sellers would be him and
Mario could fix him? Is he fixing Beck? Listen, I think Cam, give credit to Cam Ward. That guy came in and balled out. Wasn't his problem that they were losing some of these games. I'd put that more on the defense. But now Cristobal's got an elite defense, and now the quarterback stinks. Which one is it?
I think people give too much credit to Miami. People give too much credit. They're the best team. According to who? According to who? They can't play. They do not play well in a week-by-week basis. They lose terrible games.
That's why, for me, that's why it's on the coach. Talent-wise, you see it. I mean, you see it on the field. You see the defense holding these teams and the offense being anemic in the second half. They didn't score a point in the fourth quarter against Florida State.
That's fine.
And if Florida State showed up in the first three quarters, they'd probably win that game.
I don't disagree, but all these schools also have talent. Miami might have a little more top-end talent, but it's a coach's sport. Cristobal's not a big-time coach. That's it. And the quarterbacks are not that good, and they have good talent, true freshmen. That's fine. But Miami does not – I don't even think they're the best team in that conference. I don't think so. Why, they beat Notre Dame? Notre Dame was playing for a kid for the first time in that game. And they almost won. They didn't almost win, but they got back in the game in the second half. That was his first ever game.
I would say they almost won. I'm all right with you saying that.
They were out of the game.
I'm all right with you saying that.
They were out of the game. They had a chance, but they were out of the game. But that was his first ever game. Beat Florida, okay. Florida's now just a spoiler team in the SEC. That's what they are. That's their identity.
Colin, to your credit, it's the Notre Dame win. And a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, if you want to write home about the Notre Dame
struggling
win.
in conference.
Yeah, it's 3 months ago. Run away with it. Ridiculous.
You got to win the games you're supposed to win. If you're a big-time team, you want to be compared with the big dogs, you got to beat SMU on the road. And that's James Franklin. James Franklin lost to Northwestern at home. How'd that work out for him, Christian?
Northwestern's underrated, by the way. I'm done listening to that because they had Michigan dead by rights as well.
Michigan stinks. You'll need to put me in a psych ward if Ohio State loses that game this year, by the way.
No.
You don't go to psych ward. Go to Men's Only Medical.
Yeah. Actually, I'm just going to go see Doc Al over at Men's Only Medical. But honestly, all trolling aside, folks, I'm down some pounds going into turkey and gift season. And I have Men's Only Medical and Doc Al to thank for that. I'm on my nutrition and weight management program. I sat down with Doc Al. I figured out what I should be eating, what I should be avoiding. I know exactly what I'm dealing with when it comes to body fat. I know exactly the percentage of body fat that I want to get to because of the Steiku test. Did all that over at Men's Only Medical on North Dixie Highway. We did the EKG test. We did the advanced blood work with Doc Al. And he tests a lot more than your average hospital, too. But the best part is the concierge healthcare service. Like, I say this story all the time, but it's true. I was dealing with a toe problem. I'm a big runner. I love running on the treadmill. I run 3 miles 5 days a week. I had a toe issue. I said, Doc, I need you to take a look at it. He got me in the next day. He could have got me in as soon as the same day, but I decided because, Doc's on my time. That's the concierge healthcare service. It's not calling and waiting on hold and, he'll see you in a month. No, I could see Doc Al on my time. They also have expert cardiovascular healthcare Like I said, that EKG test, you can see how your ticker is pumping, all that good stuff. If you're dealing with a heart issue, go see Doc Al. Hair loss solutions, go see Doc Al. And I urge you to go look at their social medias, Meds Only Medical. Doc talks about all the stuff that they got going on. It's a one-stop shop health clinic for men, but also a doctor. I obviously, I'm 30 years old. All right, I'm taking care of what I could take care of right now, preventing stuff from happening down the line. But if you're already down the line, and if you sadly have issues, go see Doc Al, because he's going to make you right. That's medsonlymedical.com, medsonlymedical.com. Go see Doc Al, Cardinal Newman guy. Go see him. Go see him on North Dixie Highway. Tell him Riz sent you.
Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat. Getting to the rest of the NFL slate. Looks like the ACC, there's 4 teams with 1 loss. 4 teams. Pitt plays Georgia Tech this weekend. Pitt still has to deal with Miami. Virginia just has 1 game remaining against Virginia Tech. And Georgia Tech just has 1 game remaining in conference as well. So with that, SMU, 2 big games, including at Louisville, coming up this weekend. If I had to place a bet today, I'm probably looking at a Virginia-Georgia Tech ACC championship game. A lot to watch in that conference. Big Ten, there's only 2 big games to keep an eye on, and that's USC at Oregon this weekend. And then on the other side, I think, is the Ohio State-Michigan game coming up in 2 weeks. And the SEC, you're really just looking at Texas, Texas A&M, and hoping that none of the other schools slip up. That's really what you're looking at there, because that looks to be a 5-bid conference. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Talk about stepping up. Bang! Bang! It's time to level up your game. Introducing the all-new ESPN app. All of ESPN, all in one place. Your home for the most live sports and the best championship moments.
The electricity is palpable.
Step up your game with no annual contract required. It's the ultimate fan experience. Level up for more on the ESPN app or at stream.espn.com. Sign up now.
Coach Saban here, and let me tell you, every second matters. Preparation is everything, and that's why I trust Kidde Smoke Alarms.
And as North America's #1 home fire safety brand, they're built to respond over 25% faster to smoke detection. Kidde helps protect what matters the most. Find it at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. #1 claim based on total household installations as of December 2023. 29% faster average smoke detection based on internal testing of smoldering wood fires for Kidde 9th edition versus leading competitor 8th edition products.
Hi, I'm Scott Smith with Smith Ball Baez and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. As you have likely seen and heard, law firm advertising is at an all-time high. Attorney ads seem to be part of every radio and TV commercial segment. Some firms are even using paid actors and actresses to speak for them. At Smith Ball Baez and Prather, we know that the decision to hire a law firm should never be based on advertisements alone. It is our past results and many positive 5-star reviews that we encourage you to read at smithball.com to learn more about our law firm. We have board-certified lawyers. We have lawyers listed in the best lawyers in America and in super lawyers. But most importantly, we have experienced lawyers located right here in Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast that are ready to be your advocate and your voice, and fully prepared to start fighting for your legal rights today. Our purpose, legal power. Our mission, huge results. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith Ball Baez and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith Ball Baez and Prather, help is just a local phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
On ESPN 106.3.
You know, maybe the team who does not get lucky in getting that bid to the college football playoff at large or not can go over to the Boca Raton Bowl because 2025 Boca Raton Bowl, it's coming for its 12th year. It's going to be Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 p.m., Flagler Credit Union Stadium down in Boca. The game's going to air on ESPN. It's going to have two of the biggest and best teams from the Group of Five that are going to battle it out for their chance at the title. More information can be found at BocaRatonBowl.com. Follow along on Twitter at Boca Bowl and Facebook.com/Boca Bowl for more updates as we inch closer to that date. Once again, 2025 Boca Raton Bowl, Tuesday, December 23rd, Flagler Credit Union Stadium. Maybe we'll get a team, Western Kentucky we've had a number of times. Maybe we'll get a team from the American. Because the American's having a hell of a year, by the way. Hell of a year. And that's also another one where there's a lot of implications because the winner of that league is probably going to get a bid.
Dude, you're locked into that American conference.
I'm into it.
You are locked in.
You want to talk about whether the good games are going to be? Look no further than the American. Next couple weeks is interesting. Because they have a couple bye games this week, but East Carolina's got one loss in conference. North Texas is one loss in conference. Tulane's one loss in conference. And Navy one loss in conference. And Navy still has to play Memphis, who's 8-3.
That's fun.
Because those are teams that are really playing for their lives. Really playing
and they just want to get into the dance. You know what I mean? They want to get in there and have a jig.
Would you rather see
I don't blame them.
Navy, Tulane, North Texas, or East Carolina?
Dude, sign me up for North Texas.
Yeah, with Messamaker.
I want that offense. Now, they can't defend worth a lick and gave up about 60 points to South Florida. But, Kyle, I mentioned that my sister lives in Texas. She's got a lot of friends that graduated from North Texas, and they're fired up. They've been telling me about that team all year long. So I'll lean North Texas for who I want to see out of the American.
Yeah, Messamaker, their quarterback, is good. He's a redshirt freshman, too. So he'll be a big-time player somewhere, probably, scooped up off the marketplace. He's got 23 touchdowns, 4
maybe he'll go to Miami. Maybe he'll go to Miami.
Maybe he'll go to New York, get a Heisman vote, because that doesn't seem like anybody knows who the Heisman's going to be.
That's that UConn kid.
Yeah, Fagnano.
That's your guy, dude.
That's our guy. You're going to FAU this week. We're going to be down there at Flagler Credit Union Stadium in a couple weeks. They play FAU. I think it's this weekend they play FAU. That's right. This Saturday, 3 o'clock. I might go to the game. Go see Fagnano. Who, by the way,
he's a paisan. He's like us, Kyle.
He's one of the good guys. He's got 25 touchdowns. He threw an interception the other day, but that was his first of the season. That was his claim to fame. If he had 34 touchdowns, no interceptions, you have to bring him to New York.
Pretty impressive.
Have to bring him to New York. That team has 8-3, 3 overtime losses. Ooh. That would have been a college football playoff berth worth getting.
You want to know what that team needs to do? Join a conference. Just like Notre Dame.
They'll probably be in the Big 12.
This is 2025.
They're probably going to be in the Big 12.
Big 12. They're on the Eastern Seaboard.
It doesn't matter.
Big 12.
Yeah. If I had to make a bet, I would say that.
I guess, Big 10, you had Nebraska in there. Might as well add, Washington and company
Big 10,
and
what
Oregon.
About the USC? I mean, USC.
The funniest thing is Stanford playing in the Atlantic Coastal Conference.
That's right. It doesn't matter.
They play in Cali.
Cal Berkeley.
That's insanity. They play in
Cal Berkeley volleyball has to go,
Dude,
go and play these AC
Go look at the travel logs, Kyle, of some of these teams. It's insanity.
It's ridiculous.
Insanity.
They do road trips. These are college kids doing road trips like they're an NBA team. So that's why I'm fully on board with the American, because we were talking about it. What do we care about the rest of the year in terms of big games? You care about USC and see if they could beat Oregon. That's in the Big Ten. And you see if Michigan can beat Ohio State. Outside of that, those three at the top, if Oregon could beat USC, Oregon's probably locked in. Indiana is most likely locked in the rest of the way. And Ohio State is definitely locked in, but you could have a bid steal with Michigan.
Right. And they can knock out a team a la SEC and or a Big 12 team that could have been able to sneak in. So, but I warn you, Kyle, we say this and then somebody loses. We say, oh, there's 2 games left, and then someone who's not supposed to lose ends up losing. So that's why I think college football is great in the sense of something always happens. Oh, it's a down week. Oh, and then all of a sudden one of the top teams goes down.
Yeah. USC and Oregon, who both have one loss in conference, play each other this week, so that'll knock the other out. But let's say if USC was able to win that game, USC would have 2 losses. They'd have a huge marquee win on the road at Oregon. They would have beaten Michigan head-to-head.
Right.
They would have 1 loss in conference, most likely, because that last game of the year is against UCLA, who stinks. And if they were to get in, keep in mind, that would be an at-large bid.
Right.
They have a head-to-head loss to Notre Dame, and they have, that's a bad loss, and Notre Dame's going to be, dwindling inside out. And then out on top of that, Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon's probably out. What if Michigan were to beat Ohio State?
That's USC would turn into Michigan
because
fans.
USC beat Michigan
Right.
head-to-head, and then Michigan would have the best win on the schedule.
Right.
And then Indiana, Ohio State, all those teams, then we're talking about who gets a bid to the actual Big Ten championship game, because Michigan only has one loss in conference.
Yep.
So that one loss in conference, if they beat Ohio State, they'll have the head-to-head nod over them. Indiana will probably get in. Then USC and Michigan would both have one loss, and USC would be in the Big Ten championship game.
You'd get Michigan, you'd get Indiana, you'd get Ohio State, you'd get 4 teams from
It
the
might
Big Ten.
it might be a 3-way tie between USC, Michigan, and Ohio State, and I don't know what the tie break is for that. I believe if there's a head-to-head somewhere in there, that's how they get knocked off. But then you got to make a decision if you're the committee. Do you cut out that 5th SEC team? Do you cut out Notre Dame? But you're going to cut out Notre Dame when Notre Dame took care of USC at home?
Or are you leaving one of the Big Ten schools at home? Are you leaving a USC at home? Are you leaving a Michigan at home? You think, and listen, let me know if my goggles are getting in the way. You'd think if Ohio State lost to Michigan, even with the one loss, they'd be safe to get in.
Yeah, they're going to get in.
Okay. Now, who would because you want to know who's going to lame say, even though Oregon would theoretically have lost to USC in this scenario, there'd be 3 teams with 2 losses in the Big Ten. There'd be Oregon, there'd be Michigan, and there'd be USC. Which one would the committee leave out? Because I think
Oregon.
they'd leave one out.
They leave out Oregon.
Okay.
But the thing is, then you have 4 Big Ten, and then you got to cut out somebody else.
Would they leave out Michigan? Probably not, because they beat Ohio State.
They get the best win on the schedule.
Maybe they leave out USC.
But USC beat Michigan head-to-head.
Recency bias.
Yes.
Haven't they done that in the past before? Right.
I
go back to 14 where Ohio State probably had no business.
Same record is where I get dicey. Texas beats Oklahoma, but Oklahoma's got a game lead on them. I could live without it. But if they got the same record, and keep on, I'm under the impression right now that the Big Ten's going to get 3 bids. That's my impression right now. If you add in a Michigan and all of a sudden you need to put in 4 because the winner of that USC Oregon game might get in. Or let's say Oregon wins, and then you got to put in Oregon. Then you got to cut somebody out. And if you're going to cut out somebody, you're not selling me on any of the top 10 in the SEC. And Oklahoma's got that win at Alabama now.
Kyle, these back half SEC teams that are trying to sneak in, they will be rooting for. If Michigan is undefeated and doesn't blow it this weekend, I believe to Maryland. All right, if they beat Maryland, the SEC schools are going to be rooting for Ohio State, so that other bid won't go to Michigan. They will put Michigan.
But you're
in. Colin, they will. If Michigan has 2 losses and they beat Ohio State and they end the year 10-2,
do they take Oregon's spot?
They are 100% getting in. The
what
brand of Michigan, they are getting in.
No, I'm not saying Michigan's getting cut out.
Okay.
But it's the number of teams I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Do you put in 3 Big Ten teams and cut Oregon out?
You do, because they don't have.
Or do you cut out the Oklahoma?
Who would be Oregon's best win? Iowa?
It would be USC. It would be USC if they were to beat USC this weekend. So
a lot of what ifs right now, but that's what. Listen, when we're in the final week before rivalry week, that's what we're doing right now.
Because we're looking at 1 Big 12, 1 ACC, 1 Group of 5, and
3,
and then Notre Dame. That's 4, and the 8 remaining is 5 and 3.
Yeah,
and Oklahoma just bought themselves a bid. They just bought themselves a bid. You win at Alabama, they have Missouri, who's easy at home, but then they got LSU, who hasn't played very well. They should get in. Right? And they beat Michigan head-to-head. Keep that in mind.
So let me get this straight. All Ohio State has to do is beat Michigan, and everything will be golden for everybody? Got it.
Vitacost Sports Certified Marketplace is built for athletes and fitness enthusiasts who want to train hard, but understand that just showing up and doing it is not the whole battle. The real battle is actually the nutrition and fueling side of it, because that's how you see most of your gains and most of your progress. Vitacost Sports Certified Marketplace is your go-to for leveling up your game. They have a sports certified marketplace that has over 400 in sports-enhancing supplements that are all certified, which means that they're free of banned substances. There's no funny business going on, and they help you take the next step. Visit Vitacost.com/sport-certified to make your purchase today. Use code ESPN20 for 20% off. That could be electrolytes, protein, creatine, fish oil, whatever it might be. Vitacost has it, and they also have the best products on the market. Use that code ESPN20, 20% off. Level up your game at Vitacost. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat. We'll do a little 5 and 5 on the other side of things. Stay tuned. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
What would you do with an extra $700? You can earn up to $700 per year with Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Boost Checking pays 7.0 annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $700 extra to do what you love. Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Requirements apply to earn the highest dividend rates. Limit one checking account per membership. Dividend rates and annual percentage yield subject to change. Business accounts do not qualify. Insured by NCUA, proud partner of Florida Atlantic University Athletics.
Football season is here, and the ultimate game day headquarters is Twin Peaks. Whether it's college Saturdays or NFL Sundays, catch every kickoff, every touchdown, every Hail Mary right here at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views. From scratch-made favorites to ice-cold 29-degree draft beers, Twin Peaks is delivering all the winning plays. Looking for a stronger lineup? No one does game day like Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks, come for the game, stay for the experience.
During football season, keep your home in the win column with EDS Air Conditioning. Right now, qualified customers can score 0% interest for 60 months on a brand new AC. Hot streaks belong on the field, not in your living room. With over 800 Google reviews and a 4.8-star rating, EDS is the trusted MVP since 2006. Visit EDSisyes.com today, kick off your game day comfort, and don't sweat the small stuff.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-7473. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WESP Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Get ready, South Florida. It's the 12th annual Boca Raton Bowl. Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 p.m. at FAU's Flagler Credit Union Stadium. Two of the best group of 5 teams go head-to-head in the ultimate holiday showdown. Over 150 players have gone from this field to the NFL. Who's next? Visit BocaRatonBowl.com for the latest, including when tickets will go on sale. The 12th annual Boca Raton Bowl, Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 p.m. at Flagler Credit Union Stadium.
The 5 p.m. hour is presented by Good Greek Moving and Storage, the world's only total relocation company. Local or long distance, they've got you covered.
Good Greek Moving and Storage. Your superhero movers.
Every great performance starts with a plan. Your game plan for greatness begins at Men's Only Medical. Dr. Al is redefining men's health with concierge care and cutting-edge treatments tailored just for you. From anti-aging and weight management to cardiovascular health, skin, and hair, they've got you covered. Expect personalized care and advanced technology to help you look, feel, and perform your best. Visit mensonlymedical.com. Men's Only Medical, setting a new standard for men's health.
Does your business leave a lasting impression? Attractive, eye-catching signs help you stand out from the crowd and create a strong brand identity. Our team at Signorama West Palm are experts in helping your business get noticed and get effective signage in front of your potential customers. Our team can turn your blank windows or plain vehicles into money-making branding machines by drawing customers' attention to your business. So if you're looking to leave that lasting impression, call us 561-687-7993 or visit signoramawpb.com.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Call into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Collins!
You know, I know we're in the off season a little bit, but it also means we're in the preseason for the TGL season. And Boston Commons, boy, do they have a little trick up their sleeve with the season looming.
Oh, you're getting ready for it. It's this Friday, November 21st, inside the incredible SoFi Center. If you haven't been to a TGL match yet, this is your chance to check out what the SoFi Center is all about. It's the inaugural Boston Common Golf Tea Party presented by Comcast Business. Again, this Friday, November 21st. Tickets are on sale right now. You can get them. BostonCommonGolf.com/Tea Party, spelled T-E-E, party. And it's not just getting to go to the SoFi Center because you have big, heavy hitters, world-famous artists from One Direction, Niall Horan, and one of the biggest stars in the world right now, Noah Khan. They're ambassadors for Boston Common Golf. They're going head-to-head in a 9-hole TGL-style match. But that's not all. It's just getting started because the guys from Good Golf, who are changing the way golf is played and enjoyed, they're going to be there. Bubby and Mo, they will be actually co-hosting the night. Also in attendance, you'll see Garrett Clark, Matt Sharf, Sean Walsh, and the champion of the Internet Invitational, Brad Dalkey. Dalkey Kong is going to be there this Friday, November 21st, in the SoFi Center. The inaugural Boston Common Golf Tea Party presented by Comcast Business. BostonCommonGolf.com/Tea Party, spelled the golf way.
All right, let's bounce around. Let's do a little 5% by Flagler Credit Union.
5 topics.
High five.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get out of here.
Endless takes.
You can't handle the truth.
All gas, no brakes.
And it's shaking big time.
It's time for the 5 at 5.
Hold on to your butts.
Presented by Flagler Credit Union, proud supporter of FAU Athletics. Number 1.
Well, it got hairy in the Steelers-Bengals game yesterday that resulted in a Jalen Ramsey ejection. Looked like he threw a punch at Jamar Chase. Yeah, nasty. Well, what actually was nasty was the slow-mo replay, which showed us why exactly Ramsey threw a punch at Jamar Chase. Apparently, Jamar Chase spit on Jalen Ramsey. Here is what Ramsey had to say regarding his ejection.
He spit on me.
Actually, we'll check that for next time. There was a fine and a suspension given to Jamar Chase after that. A 1-game suspension, and his game check is gone for Jamar Chase, which is about $450,000. Is that the correct punishment for Jamar Chase for spitting on Jalen Ramsey?
Well, they set a precedent with Jalen Carter, and he was out too. So I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's a pretty defiling move to spit on somebody, and I saw the video. It looked like he did. And the weird part is he lied about it after. Said, I didn't do it. I mean, you know how many cameras are in that building? There's 700,000 cameras, dude. You imagine that everything you do on that field is video evidence. So do I have a problem with the punishment? No. It's pretty gross. And honestly, I can't believe I'm defending Ramsey a little bit. I mean, Ramsey had to retaliate in some capacity, no?
Yeah, here's what Ramsey had to say following the ejection in the postgame locker room before Jamar Chase actually got punished by the NFL. This is immediately after the game.
He spit on me, so it's up. I don't about football after that. Yeah, as soon as he spit, it was. I mean, yeah, I ain't gonna tolerate that part of it. So, I'm sure the NFL they'll do their due diligence. They got 100 cameras out there. They can investigate. They can see everything I just told y'all was fact.
Yeah, if I'm a fan of my favorite team and my guy gets ejected because he swings on a guy who spits on him, I won't I'll be mad at my player for getting himself kicked out of the game. I think you should manage your temper better on a football field.
I don't disagree.
Am I crazy?
I think fighting people with helmets on just generally is a waste of time. But I see both sides. I will never defend anybody getting into a non-football physical altercation because I agree with you. I think at a certain point,
selfish.
You have to. It is a little selfish.
Suspended for next game?
Yeah.
Chase? Yeah, I'm fine with that. Taking away his pay is a little rough, but they're setting the tone, and I'm fine with that. If that's the way the NFL wants to stop the spitting instances, then so be it. I mean, geez, Jalen Carter.
Andy lied about it.
Hey, brother, Jalen Carter and now Jamar Chase. Enough's enough. Why are we spitting on people?
This was Jamar Chase after the game when asked about it from the media.
You see me get punched? Looks like he threw a punch.
So, just to be clear, you did not spit on him at all. That's what he's saying.
I ain't spit on nobody.
I didn't spit on nobody.
He's a nightmare with the media. Chase, nightmare with the media. Listen, if the Bengals needed anything to not bring back Joe Burrow and rush him for a lost season, you don't bring him back now. And all of a sudden, is Flacco still the toast of the town there?
Number 2.
Is he still the toast of the town in Cincinnati at 3-7?
Their season's done.
They're done. I wouldn't. Burrow, I'd tell him to go to Cancun for the rest of the year. We'll check back in March.
How about the college football Saturday? That was a couple of big teams going down, one of which was Alabama. And maybe the biggest shocker of the day was Texas A&M nearly getting blown up from South Carolina. Then they rise from the dead, pulling off the biggest comeback in SEC history, down 30-3, winning 31-30. If you're an A&M fan, do you have cause for concern, or are you more admiring the comeback?
I would admire the comeback because that's just a bad half. They played a bad half. SC played a good half, and A&M has now shown you some resilience throughout the year. Winning at Notre Dame, that was a resilient game. They've done it at South Carolina now. They've had games where they've dominated front to back. They're showing you a little bit of everything here. Are they as great as they could be every single week? No. Arkansas game was another one where, they allowed a team in the game for far too long. But they were winning in a bunch of different ways. They got a great offense, a prolific offense, a bunch of pros all over the place. And South Carolina, on the other end, they had every opportunity to put that game away. They had every opportunity, and even had a chance to drive the ball at the end of the game, and Sellers was awful. Oh, my goodness. But I wouldn't cause for concern too much. They still have the Texas game to look at. Texas is going to want that one, but Texas was bad over the weekend. A&M is all but sure to be in that playoff.
Yeah, I agree with Colin. They're in the playoff. I think that was a gutsy win. Obviously, coming back from the amount of points that they did, you tip your cap to A&M and the coaching staff and the quarterback, Marcel Reed.
You almost have more momentum coming out of that game than you did coming in.
I think listen, I know Alabama had a rough loss, all right, but I still think A&M and Alabama are probably the two best within the conference. I think you got to say something about Georgia, too. I think Georgia's had a couple of great wins. It was a big win against Texas, knocking them out of the college football playoff. But I personally think this was more about the coach on the other side. What the hell was Shane Beamer doing before halftime? What are you doing? You're basically telling everyone you won the game already. Are you aware that you got to prepare your team to go out and play in the second half? And he didn't do a good job of that. And I honest to God felt bad for him in the post-game press conference because he sounded like an idiot. He sounded like an idiot at halftime, acting like the game was already over, and then the poor guy just didn't know what to say in the post-game press conference. I feel for the South Carolina fan who probably should have had a big win on the road.
I could see them moving on from him as well. Definitely. I could see that being an open job here in the next month.
Let's go to the NBA, where a very funny situation happened at the Warriors game, where Draymond Green walks into the crowd and confronts a fan. Now, why? Because after Draymond Green, on one possession, went 0 for 5 from the field on a bunch of missed put-back layups, a fan in the crowd was chanting, "Angel Reese," to Draymond Green. Draymond Green stops what he's doing, walks into the crowd, and has a chat with this fan. Now, the fan was not ejected. The fan seemed to be in good spirits. It wasn't a scary altercation that threatened on getting physical or anything like that. But Draymond Green was really bothered by this. Someone asked him post-game what exactly went on.
What happened in the second quarter with that fan? He just kept calling me a woman. It was a good joke at first, but you can't keep calling me a woman. I got 4 kids, one on the way.
Draymond Green wasn't really happy with being called a woman. Who's in the right here, the fan or Draymond?
All right, it's always Draymond. I saw a picture of this. I did not see the video. That fan was huge.
Yeah, he was like 3 inches over.
He was huge. He was taller than Draymond. That guy he was 6'10". What is that guy doing at the game?
Get him on the court.
Yeah, you're going to be recruited, dude. Get out there. He was huge. So I guess it was the right guy, the only guy who could probably stand his ground with an NBA player.
Checked him on it.
Classic Draymond.
Honestly, fair play to Draymond. I'm sick of these fans thinking they could get away with murder. Honest to God.
But that's not murder. And that's not close to.
He's allowed to chant.
But he was calling him Angel Reese, and I'm assuming it was because he was missing layups.
Yes, that he was 0 for 5 in a possession with 5 missed putback layups.
I mean, if he kept going, I mean, listen, it's not like Draymond sucker punched him or anything like he did to Jordan Poole, okay? He just went and checked him in the crowd. Listen, if you dish it out, you better be ready for some confrontation, mate. That's all I'm saying.
But no one talks like Draymond Green.
Well, yeah.
And he's clearly got sensitive about one fan's accurate portrayal of that possession.
I understand all this, but guys, my pushback is like it's not like, and for the record, all right, even though I'm a Cavalier fan, I actually really do like Draymond Green. I think he's great for the sport, but it's like he didn't punch him. He just went up to him. He checked him on it. Fair play to him. If you were calling me a girl's name, I'd check you on it too.
Yeah, I don't think.
Right?
Nothing,
I mean,
he
it's
didn't
not
get the
like
guy
he
kicked
punched
out.
him.
He didn't get the guy kicked out.
Right, and he didn't get.
Good point.
If he got the guy kicked out,
If
I'd
he
be
pulled the
annoyed.
LeBron and
Yeah.
pulled an official over, is that him right there? Get him out of here.
Yeah.
Then there would be a real problem.
Well, yeah, that guy was being an idiot, but neither here nor there. The guy LeBron had kicked out was being an absolute idiot, but that's neither. I mean, this guy,
Are you handling that guy with kid gloves? Like, was he actually just being an idiot?
He was being an idiot.
But I think that's allowed. You can be an idiot.
The guy with Draymond was as simple enough as he called him someone else, called him a woman, and he went up and he checked him on it. That's it.
You're in favor of NBA players going into the crowd to go after.
I'm not in favor.
Slippery slope.
Listen.
You picked the wrong guy, and now we got a physical altercation.
I'm not in favor of it, but just know when you go to these games, guys, don't act like a stupid up, okay? Don't act like a dunce, all right? That's it.
Number 4.
That guy was, if you're dishing it out, be ready to get it back.
I think it's part of the gig. If you're a professional athlete playing on the road somewhere, you're gonna get chirped. People are gonna yell at you. Comes a line. There's a point in which we stop, and you don't say that.
I mean, this wasn't the Palace of Auburn Hills. He didn't pull a Ron Artest.
Yeah, but the thing is, once you blur that line, once you walk into the crowd to confront a fan,
Did they give him a technical, Christian? I'm sorry. Did they?
Didn't see one. No.
Okay. Clearly the referee, the guys in charge of the game didn't take much offense to it.
I did see they have these cards that arena personnel in the NBA give to fans who are being very enthusiastic and maybe in a negative way.
Disruptive?
Yes. And just if they're really negative and really giving it to, which is up to interpretation. What's below the belt, what's not, where it's like, hey, this is your warning. You gotta be nicer, essentially in the way. And I saw the arena person give that card to the fan.
There are
have been
moments.
checked.
There's moments where fans are completely out of line. So I do understand the policing on it because there have been a number of different instances where these fans were completely outrageous in the things they say, whether it be too sensitive or too intense or too harsh. So, no harm, no foul. I see the point.
Number 4.
The Ravens beat the Browns by a touchdown in the 4 o'clock window yesterday. Lamar Jackson kept the Ravens on the winning side of things. Back-to-back wins for those Ravens. Well, the Browns, they're on the flip side of things, but we got to see Shedeur Sanders in the second half due to a Dillon Gabriel concussion protocol injury. Here's what Cam Newton had to say on Shedeur Sanders after Shedeur Sanders didn't look that good in his debut of real game regular season reps.
This is the thing that really irks me the most, is because he doesn't get any reps. Circa 2015, circa when Cam Newton was the MVP, circa when, hey, my backup for majority of my career was probably the biggest blessing of my career to have a veteran in Derek Anderson. Ron Rivera still knew we're one play away, kid, from you not being available. We would have anywhere from 6 to 12 reps in every single practice.
That was the case for Cam and Anderson, not the case for Shedeur Sanders, despite being QB2 for a number of weeks now behind Dillon Gabriel. Browns fan Mike, what did you think about Shedeur's debut and everything surrounding him this far into the season?
I mean, it was a disaster. I blame the coaching staff more than anything for everything that Cam Newton said there. And from what I hear, too, Shedeur can handle himself better. It's hard to put it all on a 5th-round pick who no one in the league had expectations for, maybe outside of the Browns who traded up to get him. Now, he is going to be the starter for the game coming up this weekend. Mary Kay Cabot of Cleveland.com came out today and said that Gabriel's still in protocol and they're preparing Shedeur. to be the starter. So let's see what the guy's going to be able to do with the full week of practice. It's hard for me to make an evaluation off of him getting no reps with anything with the first team and being thrown to the dog. He was thrown to the wolves yesterday. But at the same time, man, you got to make better decisions. Are we all in agreements here? I mean, the interception, you threw it right into double coverage. He didn't know the route Judy was running. He almost threw a second interception on a waggle to the right, and then he had a fumble, and thankfully the Browns recovered it. So I think both are at fault. Shedeur looked terrible, but the coaching staff, who, by the way, is on their way, they're probably out the door at Kevin Stefanski and company with the way that they've handled this season. Number one, sticking with Dylan Gabriel for as long as they did. That guy stinks. And number two, not preparing Shedeur Sanders, to Cam Newton's point, is a play away. Both are at fault, but I look forward to Shedeur starting this weekend to see what the young man could actually do on a football field. I can't take that for face value, what I saw against the Ravens being thrown to the Wolves.
This is what the Brown fan wanted. All right, here's his chance, right? They wanted him to play. Mike wanted him to play. Now he's playing. So let's see. I kind of agree. It's hard to make a full declaration. Now, to both sides, it's a strange hill to die on, to live with the fact that we're just calling out that the franchise is letting him down and is destroying his career. At a certain point, you can play, you can't play. I understand maybe the franchise not doing a good job with him practicing. Nobody knows where the hell he is. Nobody knows what the hell he does during practice. But it's a strange hill to die on to say that it's just the franchise's fault, not the player. He comes in there, and he does a lot of the things that I saw him do in Colorado. He holds the ball too long. He takes terrible sacks. He, makes sure to keep the ball underneath. When he sails it, he has issues throwing the ball accurate-wise. I mean, all right. Let's see now with a full week. He needed reps. Everybody's bringing up the reps. He doesn't get reps. All right, well, he's going to get a week of reps. Let's see what happens. But, I mean, he was awful in the game. He's the whole reason the Ravens got back into the game.
I'm with Colin that. I mean,
it's a strange hill to die on.
Both are at fault. To blame it completely on the coaching staff is foolish. To not put any blame on Shedeur is foolish as well. Let's move on.
Number 5.
Happy episode 300 of Russo and Rizzo. Today's the day. 300 episodes have gone and went. So naturally, how long do you would think that you would have to train to bowl a 300 at a bowling alley?
My dad's got 2. Let's get that out of the way.
Oh,
I don't
he's
bowl.
A bowler?
Young Padawan, you've got a sensei.
My dad has 2, but I would try to learn from the old man because he's a hell of a bowler. It must have been a boomer thing. My dad and mom were in a bowling league. That was like a thing that they and their friends did. My dad played football and stuff. He was an athlete, but they liked going to the bowling alley too.
So he grew up bowling.
Yeah, they grew up bowling. They grew up bowling at the Parma Heights. I forget the lane. Excuse me. Neither here nor there.
The Parma Heights.
They bowled at that lane for my Cleveland people listening in Parma Heights. And my mom, they had their team. My mom and dad had their team, and they had a lot of fun with it. So my dad has done it twice.
Okay.
I would learn from the old man.
It's a lot more common than I think people give it credit for. I know a couple people who have gotten 300 bowling.
Oh.
And they're all people who bowl in leagues. Yeah, they're all people who bowl consistently. I don't know enough about bowling to see the exponential progress. What's the learning curve?
It's interesting because apparently it changes throughout the game because the path the ball takes changes the oils on the track where the ball gets rolled down the lane. So apparently it's more than just, replicate this roll 12 times, right? Isn't that how many things there are? Frames?
Boys, I can't lie. Every time I think of bowling, I think of that crazy guy. Who do you think? Me! What's the famous bowling?
You hate me, you love me, watch. That's what
he
said.
Yeah. Who do you think you are?
Yeah, that's it.
That was brutal, Mike.
Sorry.
You misquoted that man to high hell.
I'm sorry to that man who I don't know his name, and
man.
He's the most famous bowler of all time, but I forgot his name.
Christian, that unnamed man in the quote that I absolutely botched, but I think of him every single time I think of bowling. My boy Gomer's bowled the 300 before too. One of my best friends, Zach.
Pete Weber.
Yeah, good. Isn't he the GOAT? Isn't Pete the GOAT of bowling?
It's like figure skating. Like you've hit the top.
I don't think so.
But you've hit the top. So everybody
has someone ever gotten a perfect score in figure skating?
I have no idea. I don't know the sport.
All right, it's like opposite of figure skating. There's a level that people can get that's attainable for the civilian. Now what? All right, do we just 2 guys get together, bowl a bunch of 300s, and the first person to miss loses? Is that how that goes? I've never watched professional bowling.
Are you breaking down figure skating, right? Can you break down figure skating?
Because darts, there's only so many amount of perfect darts you can throw. Eventually, you're not going to be perfect.
Right.
But bowling, no, you can bowl a perfect game today.
Right. And I imagine professional bowlers are guys who do 300 more than they don't. Maybe I'm wrong.
They should bowl at the same time. That's how we level the playing field. You should do defense in bowling.
You could break down figure skating?
No.
Okay. It sounded like you were breaking down some figure skating.
I meant it incorrectly. So with figure skating, they don't give perfect scores. So you're competing in reference to the competitor. Bowling, there's a number that you could get, an attainable number that you could get that, like we see, the civilian can get.
It's the NBA dunk contest. They give out 50s like it's nothing.
Right.
So now all of a sudden you got to judge the
when
perfect
everybody's
score.
perfect, nobody is.
Yeah.
So how do you to differentiate for the professionals, the guys who could do this in their sleep? They just show up and the first person to get a spare instead of a strike.
Darts is impressive as well. I told you the English...
There's room for growth in darts still.
Christian, the English radio station that I listen to for my world football, for my soccer, dude, they break down darts like the NFL. It's insane.
That's a big league in England?
Dude, huge. I think it's called... the Premier League Dart League. Yeah, the Premier League of darts.
Luke Littler, he's a
I know
young
him.
stud.
Yeah, I know him.
Taking over, but Michael Van Gerwen still has the crown. You got to do a little
Dude,
more.
Kyle,
kid.
they break that down like you and I breaking down Ohtani and Judge.
Good walkouts there.
The crowd reactions are great.
I mean, it's at the pub.
Yeah, just long picnic tables that span a football field in length, just watching the big screen, not even watching like the actual dart being thrown.
Kyle, these guys are legends over there, too. They get treated like royalty.
I'm sure, because it's all pub games.
Correct.
You know, you're great at a pub game. Is that number 5?
That's it. That's what we got.
Jonathan Zazzlo coming up on the other side of things. We'll get his thoughts on the ACC and a couple of the NFL games that we had yesterday. Stick around for it. The voice of 305 on the other side of things. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
I'm Ellie Anajar of Anajar and Levine. Injured in a car crash? Never rush to settle with insurance companies, and never settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine. Our experienced legal team will fight to win you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call me, Ellie Anajar, for a free consultation and take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
Main office, West Palm Beach.
Whether it's a clutch touchdown pass, a game-winning dunk, or an impressive dash to the finish, we want to highlight the best performance of the week. The winning performance will receive $500 courtesy of Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Catch the biggest moments and winners all season long on ESPN 106.3 and ESPN West Palm Play. Nominate them today by emailing highschool@espnwestpalm.com. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Welcome to being treated like a pro.
ESPN 106.3 is your home for live sports presented by Hard Rock Bet, home of Inter Miami, Miami Heat, and the Miami Dolphins. Catch all the action and the biggest matchups throughout the week right here on ESPN 106.3. Hard Rock Bet, it's Florida's official sports book. Try Hard Rock Bet now and receive up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida, must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida. Wager terms and conditions apply. Considered by gambling. Call 1-888-ADMIT.
Hey, it's Reese Davis. Let's be honest, we can't keep an eye on everything. Unless you've got Blink Outdoor 4 cameras. While you're focused on the game, Blink's keeping an eye on your home.
With up to 2-year battery life and with Sync Module XR, you can cover more space without constant maintenance. No wires, no worries. Blink helps keep an eye on what matters most. Get Blink today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Introducing the new ESPN Fox One bundle. Unlock all of ESPN and all of Fox One with one unbeatable price. Catch the biggest games, college football, NBA, NHL, and more on ESPN. Stream your faves, Big Noon Saturday, the World Series, and NASCAR on Fox One. All for just $39.99 a month. That's 20% off. The ESPN Fox One bundle. Offer valid for eligible subscribers only. Access content from each service separately. Savings compared to purchasing both plans separately. See stream.espn.com for complete terms and conditions.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Go get started on Hard Rock Bet. The app is free to download in the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. If you get on Hard Rock Bet, you put just $5 into the app. You win that $5 bet. You get $150 in bonus bets immediately. It is that easy to get a big little chunk of change that you could throw around in all these games. You get college basketball, the NBA, college football, NFL. All of it is available, and that's abroad and domestically. These all sports from all throughout the world are able to be bet and followed on the Hard Rock Bet app. Check out the Discover page, see what other users are putting together in terms of their parlays. Put as little as $1 up to 20 legs, increase your odds. It is that much fun on the app. Refer a friend, get $50 in referral bonus on top of that $150 you get initially. Boom, that's $200 you could throw around on any game, including the Monday Night Football game tonight with Dallas and the Ravens. That's Hard Rock Bet, offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus, physically present in front of the wager. Terms and conditions apply. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-833-PLAY-WISE. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 1063. Let's loop in somebody who knows these college football tours and stadiums and the campuses like no other. He's on the ESPN Radio College Football Campus Tour, the Zazzlo Show 2.0. Let's get to it. The voice of the 305, Jonathan Zazzlo.
You might know him as the Cooper City Rattlesnake. He's the human flamethrower of Miami sports radio.
Hey, you could be a maniac without being a jerk.
The preacher of the Pat Riley gospel.
They don't complain. They don't make excuses. This is the NBA. Deal with it.
The mayor of Dolphins Delusion.
Can the Bills offense keep up with the Dolphins offense?
And the only guy who can go from breaking down the Panthers power play to cutting a full-blown Ric Flair promo. Woo! Jonathan Zazzlo is the voice of the 305. Presented by Anajar and Levine, Robin Hood, and Twin Peaks.
Mr. Zazzlo, how are we doing today? What's going on?
How's it going, guys? Good to see you.
How was the weekend? Where were we at?
We were in Athens for Texas, Georgia. The Bulldogs assert their dominance. Texas is pretty much done. Big-time SEC matchup did not live up to the billing.
But you love Athens, though, right?
Athens is cool. Weather was great. We had a great spot doing the show this Saturday morning. We were right there on campus, just outside the stadium. Athens is fun, yes. Last appearance there. It was our second time there this season, but I like Athens, yes.
All right, not bad. And let's get the big college football takeaway, big story out of the way. James Franklin announced that he's taking that Virginia Tech job. It was flirted with over the weekend. We didn't know whether James Franklin wanted it, but Virginia Tech gets their guy. They signed James Franklin. Contract details I have not seen yet. But what's your initial reaction to Franklin going over to Virginia Tech?
Yeah, so we got word of this on Saturday morning during our show, actually, and I think it's a great hire for Virginia Tech. I think it makes all the sense in the world for James Franklin. And, you know, he's a man of his word, where, what was it, like a week after he got fired, he was on game day. And a lot of times these guys, because you have the massive buyout, they'll sit out a year, they'll sit on a beach maybe and collect their money. He said on game day that very next week, I'm going to get back into coaching right now. And he didn't even wait till the end of the season. He's the coach of two teams in one season, all right? So he's immediately back in the fold here. I think it's a great gig for him. Virginia Tech's been down for a while. I mean, but when I was growing up, Virginia Tech, Frank Beamer, that was a perennial contender every single year. He's going to do a really good job there. I think it's a great spot for him. Super low expectations, considering they haven't won in a very long time. Really good hire.
And Zaz, considering with how kind of mediocre the ACC has been, he could come in and maybe do some damage in a few years, right?
Yep, he's absolutely going to do well there. Virginia Tech's got cachet to it. We just haven't seen it in a long time.
You think that this hire has implications in regard to what Florida State could have or should have done with Mike Norvell?
No. I would imagine if Florida State felt that they had a shot for James Franklin, they would have pulled the plug on Norvell a few weeks ago. I think it's pretty clear that
you think Franklin was waiting for a different job, potentially Florida State. You think he tried to get SEC?
That's a fair question. Well, no, it's a fair question about was he waiting for another job. I don't think he was waiting for SEC. I think the ACC is a great landing spot for him, you know? Like, he had Penn State. He couldn't get over the hump, but he had Penn State as a contender every single year. Now you take that over to the ACC. I mean, you guys see what's going on in the ACC this year. Would it shock you, based on the transfer portal, if all of a sudden Virginia Tech's a player next year based on what we're seeing in the ACC? I wouldn't be surprised at that.
Zaz, what surprised you the most on that college football slate this weekend?
Ooh, Let's take a quick look.
I mean, the A&M almost losing to South Carolina. You had Michigan almost going down to Northwestern.
Oklahoma winning at Alabama, I
that
think,
too.
was that secured the 5th team in the SEC.
That's probably the biggest surprise to me is Oklahoma winning that game. And look, it's got to be pointed out because we're here in South Florida. That game really hurt the Hurricanes. It hurt the Hurricanes bad. You knew going into the weekend, okay, the Canes have a chance to jump at least a couple of spots because Texas, they should lose at Georgia. Oklahoma, they should lose at Alabama. You only got one of those that happened this weekend. Oklahoma looking like a playoff team now, of course. So it's almost like Oklahoma just stole a bid, a potential bid away from teams like Miami. So very damaging there. And you look at Oklahoma, their game this coming weekend, they're hosting Missouri, and then their last game is hosting LSU. Those should absolutely be wins. No question about it. Oklahoma's going to be a playoff team.
And Texas is also that game behind now. Even if they beat Texas A&M and have the head-to-head over Oklahoma, the committee's probably not going to give them a look there.
Yeah,
because they got that dreaded third loss.
Yeah, I don't like a 3-loss team getting in. It's too many losses. And Texas, if Texas were to get in, we're talking 6 teams most likely in the SEC. The SEC doesn't need to have half the field, especially when the 6th team is a 3-loss team. I'm sorry. Texas may not be that good. All right, they had a nice recovery from the beginning of the season, but then to get stomped the way they did it, they lost a close game against Georgia, and then they beat Texas A&M the last game of the season. Okay, fine. They were never in this game Saturday night.
I tend to agree. And on top of that, I think we could probably agree on the fact that it's going to be 5 SEC, most likely 1 ACC, 1 Big 12. Let's throw out there the group of 5. Notre Dame, most likely, and then 3 Big 10 is probably going to be your field unless barring some big unforeseen change. Am I wrong?
Yeah, that seems to be the case. Obviously I'm keeping an eye on what it looks like tomorrow night in these rankings with the Miami Hurricanes. The Canes, obviously, they need to win their last 2 games, and convincingly the way they've won their last 2 games. So to even have a shot here. But if the Canes continue to play well to finish off the season, you really got to get to number 10. And, of course, what were we talking about this past week? They were 15. Maybe they move up 1 spot because the Texas lost to 14. Can the Canes move up 4 spots? I don't know. It's going to be really hard. You got to get to at least 10 if you're Miami.
Yeah, 10's the magic number, and I don't know if they're going to get any sort of benefit of the doubt from the committee on that front. Jonathan Zazzlo with us now on Russo Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. Zaz, in terms of the football NFL schedule yesterday, a couple big losses. Kansas City, Detroit had a bad loss. I wanted to get your thoughts on one thing specifically first. Sam Darnold against the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah.
Another bad game in a big spot. He played the Rams last year in the playoffs. Wasn't great. They couldn't score. Same thing against the Lions. He was great in the Packers the week before. But in the big games, he hasn't done that well. Threw 4 interceptions yesterday. They still had a chance. But what's your takeaway with not only Seattle's chances, but their trust in Sam Darnold?
Well, I mean, they're forced to trust him. Like, there's no other option, all right?
They were conservative in the game, too. And it was weird because once he threw that second interception, they dialed it back. But
but he's the guy.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, he's the guy for the short term and the long term. And, yeah, I mean, Sam Darnold, we saw it last year. It felt – this entire season for the Seahawks has felt similar to the Vikings last year. A great record. Darnold's having a great season. All right, what are you going to do in the big games? And you mentioned the 2 big games last year, and now in their biggest game of this season, it was a close game, but that's more a credit to Seattle being a really good, well-rounded team. 4 interceptions.
Yeah.
It doesn't get a whole lot worse than that. So, if I'm Seattle, I'm certainly worried. Their chance of having at least 1 home playoff game took a major hit. Still a great record, but they're now a game back in the division, and they're only 1 up in the loss column on San Francisco. So this was a very damaging loss.
Zaz, turning it over to the Eagles, I mean, again, they went ugly, and that's just kind of been their MO the last 2 weeks. Hell, in a lot of these games, as they don't score 20 points, and they figure out how to win these games. Does the NFC still run through Philadelphia in your mind with their big wins that they've had on the schedule?
I don't think so, because there's going to be a game in the playoffs. Maybe it's against Chicago. Maybe it's against Tampa. There's going to be a game in the playoffs that they're going to have to score. Like, they're going to have to win a shootout. And granted, let's also point out what they did yesterday with Detroit. It's only the second time Dan Campbell was calling plays. Like, everyone loved Dan Campbell 2 weeks ago where he decided to take over the play sheet, and everyone was fawning over it. He didn't look like such a genius yesterday. 9 points in Jared Goff with one of the worst performances of his career. Anyway, the point being, Philadelphia is going to run into a game this postseason that they're going to have to score a ton of points. And I don't know, are you terribly confident about that? I'm not.
The one thing I'll say is the Eagles have beaten everybody. They've beaten everybody of note.
What's it, like 24 out of 27 they've won, right? You're right, it's incredible.
They've lost 2 games. They lost to Denver, and then they lost to the Giants. You know, they have beaten Kansas City at Kansas City. They have beaten Green Bay at Green Bay. They've beaten the Lions straight up. They beat Tampa at Tampa. You know, they've beaten everybody.
Yeah.
And ugly or clean, that shows for itself. It's the one thing to say about Denver, who hasn't played the toughest schedule in the world. And whereas the Eagles, they have a championship schedule, and they've stepped up to the plate. I think
I'm
every
very
single
intrigued
time.
by this Bears team. You know, that was a gutsy win they got yesterday.
Yeah, it's every week with that.
Yeah, you know, winning close games. We saw it last year with the Chiefs. They win all the close games. I'm very intrigued by this Bears team that now all of a sudden finds itself sitting atop the NFC North in what's probably the best division.
Now, speaking of the Bears, as you give them the nod in that North that you just mentioned, or can the Lions and maybe even Green Bay? I mean, Zaz, all these teams play each other. That's the fact of the matter. So you basically just have to pick who you think is the best in the division at this point with the body of work, because they're all going to play each other, and this thing's going to pan itself out.
It's a really difficult schedule the rest of the way for the Bears. Look at this, guys. They got the Steelers at home. Okay, fine. But then they're at the Eagles, at the Packers. You got the Browns. They got the Packers. They got at the Niners and the Lions. Very difficult schedule remaining for Chicago. But they're like a winning season for Chicago is make the postseason. You make the postseason, this is a great year for the Bears in Ben Johnson's first year. I'd be surprised still if they win the division. I still feel like it's Detroit. I think Detroit is still the odds-on favorite, too, in the betting sports books. I would still pick Detroit, but Chicago, great chance to make the postseason, and that's absolutely a major goal for them.
I would agree. If I had to put money somewhere, it'd probably still be my faith in Detroit. Just
I don't trust Jordan Love. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree with you. And
I
they're
don't know,
not
maybe
going to have Josh Jacobs for a couple of weeks here.
Yeah, I don't trust Jordan Love. I don't think he's that good. I don't think Green Bay's going to win the division, and I don't trust Jordan Love in a big spot.
Zaz, where can people tune into you if they want to listen to more?
Yeah, Zazzlo Show 2.0. Wherever you get your podcast, you just search. There we go. We're right there. Everything South Florida, everything Miami 305. We got you covered. Please like, rate, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And every episode of Zazzlo Show 2.0 is presented by Anajar and Levine, Accident Attorneys, 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733.
Zaz, you're going to John Cena's final match, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to Saturday night's main event next month. Yes, I am. Very excited.
Oh, wow. You were able to secure a ticket to that? That was probably not an easy get, right?
I got 2. See, it was, it's an easy get if you want to pay. Like there's no such thing as a tough ticket anymore, all right? It's just a matter of how much you want to pay. It's a very, very expensive show, but I got lucky. I got a connection, and me and my son, we're flying up, and I'm very, very excited.
Who do you want him to face?
Well, I don't know everyone who's in this tournament yet. There's a big surprise tonight, C-Cat, all right?
Okay.
I can't say who I want to face before I know everybody in the tournament, all right? Let's calm down a little bit.
I'll calm down.
Yeah.
You calm
Christian,
down.
you're an AEW guy anyway.
I know. I observe from the outside.
I'm very excited for this John Cena's final match. It's going to be really fun. By the way, Colin, I'm in your neck of the woods this coming weekend. Madison.
Oh, that's right. So you're going right from wait, so you're going to Madison, you're going to New York after Madison?
What do you mean New York?
When is John Cena's thing?
Oh, well, John Cena's final match is in D.C.
Your neck of the
I
woods.
thought it was in Madison Square Garden.
They're going to be there for the game day tour.
Yeah,
they're
he's
going to
talking
be.
about
I
Madison.
know Madison. I'm talking about
No,
I thought John
Madison
Cena's
Square
was
Garden
this weekend.
is tonight. Raw is tonight in Madison Square Garden. Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
John Cena's thing was this weekend. It's
No,
not
no,
this
no, it's
weekend?
I
next
guess
month.
we're all confused.
Next month.
So John Cena's final match is next month, but you're going to be in Madison this weekend. All right, Madison's going to be superb. So enjoy that. You're not going to enjoy the game, but enjoy
Terrible
that.
game.
Yeah, you're not gonna enjoy the
Terrible game. But I do like Madison, so I'm looking forward
Well,
to it.
Fickle saved his job winning against Washington.
He saved their job. See you, Zaz. We'll talk next time, all right?
All right, bye, guys.
Zaz, Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Ready to take on any terrain? The all-new 2025 Defender 110 P300S is here. Built for those who crave adventure without compromising on luxury. Lease the powerful 2025 Defender 110 P300S for just $849 per month for 36 months. Whether you're tackling the toughest roads or cruising the city, the Defender is ready for it all. Don't wait. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and experience the Defender like never before. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
For nearly 30 years, Jay Zazzlo and Associates has helped local businesses harness the full power of QuickBooks. This holiday season, they're thankful for the confidence their clients place in them year after year. From setup and cleanup to troubleshooting, management, and personalized QuickBooks training, Jay Zazzlo brings clarity and reliability to your financial process. Jay Zazzlo makes QuickBooks work the way it should for the way you work. Visit jzazzlo.com to learn more. That's jzollo.com.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Brought to you by FDOT.
During football season, keep your home in the win column with EDS Air Conditioning. Right now, qualified customers can score 0% interest for 60 months on a brand new AC. Hot streaks belong on the field, not in your living room. With over 800 Google reviews and a 4.8 star rating, EDS is the trusted MVP since 2006. Visit EDSIsyes.com today, kick off your game day comfort, and don't sweat the small stuff.
The 5 p.m. hour is presented by Good Greek Moving and Storage, the world's only total relocation company. Local or long distance, they've got you covered.
Good Greek Moving and Storage. Your superhero movers.
Every great performance starts with a plan. Your game plan for greatness begins at Men's Only Medical. Dr. Al is redefining men's health with concierge care and cutting-edge treatments tailored just for you. From anti-aging and weight management to cardiovascular health, skin, and hair, they've got you covered. Expect personalized care and advanced technology to help you look, feel, and perform your best. Visit mensonlymedical.com. Men's Only Medical, setting a new standard for men's health.
To help those who want to be helped, but may not be able to afford it.
That's what PGA Tour winner Grayson Murray had envisioned for a foundation before he sadly took his own life at just 30 years old. His parents channeled their grief into creating the Grayson Murray Foundation, carrying out his vision to help those struggling with mental health and addiction. To donate and learn more, visit GraysonMurrayFoundation.com.
Men, games aren't won on Friday night. They're won Monday through Thursday.
You find out life's this game of inches.
It's about preparation, it's about discipline, and it's about showing up ready to dominate.
That's gonna make the difference between winning and losing.
And now, your game plan for greatness. Ready to dominate.
That's gonna make the difference between winning and losing.
And now, your game plan for greatness. Brought to you by Men's Only Medical. Visit mensonlymedical.com.
Clear eyes, full hearts.
Let's go play some football. Let's go, baby!
It's a Men's Only Medical here on ESPN 106.3. Go see Doc Al on North Dixie Highway, where we break down Monday Night Football. Come up for game plans for the teams that are playing. I'm going to take the Cowboys because, listen, it's do or die for them. Their season is on the line. Dak Prescott must be great. Defense, one of the worst in the league. They got to figure it out. Season on the line tonight for the Cowboys, Kyle.
Raiders got to score. They haven't scored in 2 of their last 3 games. Score or get sent home. That's what's going to happen in Monday Night Football. We got more preview coming on in the next hour. We got the 5th quarter presented by Hard Rock Bet right after this. That's your game plan for greatness with Men's Only Medical. Mike Rizzo, Colin Rizzo, Christian Gadd, Russo and Rizzo. Back for this on ESPN 106.3.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
Ready to take on any terrain? The all-new 2025 Defender 110 P300S is here. Built for those who crave adventure without compromising on luxury. Lease the powerful 2025 Defender 110 P300S for just $849 per month for 36 months. Whether you're tackling the toughest roads or cruising the city, the Defender is ready for it all. Don't wait. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and experience the Defender like never before. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
F45 Training West Palm Beach offers functional group fitness classes reimagined. Sign up for F45 today and visit their West Palm Beach location. Featuring high-intensity group workouts that are fast, fun, and results-driven, F45 always has the right workout for you. Not to mention, it takes just 45 minutes. Visit F45training.com today to find a studio near you and officially join the F45 Training family. F45, team training, life-changing.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all on one platform. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Robinhood, the official jersey patch partner of the Miami Heat. All investments involve risk, including loss of principal. Options, futures, and crypto trading carry significant risk and may not suit all investors. Securities offered through Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Futures trading is offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Crypto offered through Robinhood Crypto LLC, NMLS ID 1702840, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Portfolio management offered by Robinhood Strategies, an SEC registered advisor.
What would you do with an extra $700? You can earn up to $700 per year with Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Boost Checking pays 7.0 annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $700 extra to do what you love. Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Requirements apply to earn the highest dividend rates. Limit one checking account per membership. Dividend rates and annual percentage yield subject to change. Business accounts do not qualify. Insured by NCUA, proud partner of Florida Atlantic University Athletics.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Now that I'm a dad, I can't stop thinking about what would happen to my kids if something happened to me, like losing the house or not affording college.
Yeah, that used to keep me up at night too. It's why I finally got life insurance from Ethos. It's 100% online. No medical exams, just a few health questions. I got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day.
I never realized it was that simple. Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Rates may vary. Billed monthly. Sample rate 10-year term life policy for a 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male.
Anna Jar and Levine. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WESP Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio
The following
station.
is a paid program. Advice and opinions expressed during this program are solely that of the hosts or guests of this program and not of ESPN 1063 or Good Karma Brands.
Yeah, here we go! 2 hours are not enough.
And that'll do it for regulation.
Welcome to the fifth quarter, presented by Hard Rock Bet.
Take this one to overtime.
Russo and Rizzo bring you the stories, the takes, and the breakdowns that go beyond the final whistle. We head into overtime. The fifth quarter starts now.
The fifth quarter presented by Hard Rock Bet on ESPN 1063 with Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat. Got you up until 7 p.m. today, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm, ESPN South Florida. Also on the ESPN South Florida app. Got a full slate of NFL football yesterday. Week 11 finishes off tonight with the Cowboys at the Raiders, 8:15 on the ABC and ESPN. Cowboys favored by about 3 points there, depending on where you look. Go download the Hard Rock Bet app today, and you can get action on tonight's game. That's player props, overs and unders. That's spread. Parlay it together. Do some college basketball, some NBA action. Do the NFL. You can still get involved on futures. Any league, anytime, any game, you could bet on the Hard Rock Bet app, which you could download on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. Check out the Discover page, see what other users are putting together, and bet just $5 into the app. Your first $5, if you win that first bet, you get $150 in bonus bets immediately. It's that easy on the Hard Rock Bet app. Try it now. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus. Physically present in Florida. The wager. Terms and conditions apply. Considered by gambling. Call 1-833-PLAY-WISE. NFL yesterday, a couple big takeaways. One thing we haven't talked about yet was what happened in that Panther-Falcon game. 30-27 in overtime. Michael Penix Jr. now looked to be done for the rest of the season with a knee injury. Went down middle of the game. And Kirk Cousins came in, actually got them in position to kick a game-tying field goal to send it in overtime. And then they get a quick stop. And the Panthers go right down the field and win the game to win yet another classic 6-5 on the season. Need one more to win my over.
So they had a good week this week. Next week, they'll lose by 40. I'm talking about
points.
the Panthers.
Yep.
Lose by about 40 points in the week after. They'll get you
again.
your 7th win and your win with our good friends at Hard Rock Bet because you took over 6.5. Can I focus quickly on Atlanta?
Yeah.
Because remember how last season ended? Raheem Morris botching the timeouts, not doing well with clock management. A little bit of that bled over into this year because now Michael Penix, number one, out for the year. But number two, let's not forget what he said to the media prior to this week is that he's basically all alone. So they were on the outside.
They've lost 5 straight games.
That and like outside looking in on the playoffs because of the coach, because of the clock management and the issues there. And now this year he's made a disaster of it. I'd be shocked if he's in a job next year. I think he'll probably finish out the year. He'll get fired, and then Raheem Morris will probably be a defensive. And let's be honest, he's a great defensive coordinator. He was great for the Rams and Sean McVay. But I think that's ran its course there. I do. And that's only 2 years. Keep in mind, it's only 2 years for Raheem Morris. But with a season like that and how talented, in my opinion at least, I think the Falcons are defensively, they got weapons too. They got Robinson. I know London is injured now. We'll have to wait and see how the severity of that. But like Colin, they have talent on the team. He failed the rookie quarterback. I don't see him coming back.
Yeah, the Falcons they're a mess. I don't know if there's a bigger middling team, maybe them and the Dolphins. But, I mean, they had that Colts game where they played pretty well. They had that Patriot game where they were sort of in the game. They got killed by the Dolphins. They were bad against the 49ers. And then they beat the Bills. They've had losses close, losses big. All in all, it tells you that not only should you be worried about Penix because of his health, but you should also be worried about the future of that head coach in standing. I would say that team is better suited for a complete wash than they are to run it back. I would say that's probably the more likely of the scenarios. I mean, washing out that coaching staff, I think, is probably the best thing you could do for that talented roster.
And the Kirk Cousins thing didn't work.
You're
just wipe your hands. Yeah, wipe your hands clean of everything.
I think after this year is the year you could actually move on from the contract.
Are you drafting a quarterback if you're Atlanta, or are you trying to run this thing with Michael Penix again?
No. They don't even have a first-round pick next year.
At the same time, though, is it a good time to wipe your hands clean of the whole situation and clean house?
Get a halfway decent backup because you know you might need to use him. But what are you going to do? You just put a first-round pick into this guy. Right. You don't have another first-round pick. I mean, you can't just keep drafting quarterbacks and somebody's going to have to work out event. You can't just keep doing that. I mean, I know the guy's old. He's got bad knees. He had knee problems in college. Then he got through the Washington season healthy. He didn't play the whole year last year, and now he's got knee problems again. I'd be concerned about that. And he's older, and he hasn't played that great to begin with. He played a pretty good game yesterday. But he hasn't been consistent. Now, it's young, it's early, but let's compare that really quickly. If you're the Vikings and the Falcons, I'm going to loop in the Vikings because of all those quarterbacks that were drafted last year. Bo Nix is having a superb season. Drake May is having a superb season. Caleb Williams, they're 7-3. And then on top of that, Jaden Daniels, who got hit with the injury bug, but that team won the NFC title game last year. The other two are Minnesota, who's just a little soul-searching right now, post-Darnold, current J.J. McCarthy, who has 2 good drives a game, and the rest of it is completely unwatchable. And then you have Michael Penix Jr., who is either not playing well, playing okay, but you're worried about his health, but the coach lets him down, or rarely everything fires on all cylinders. I'd be nervous if I was Atlanta because what's the next best step? You know, you want to get Penix healthy. You want to enter next year healthy. Fine. You have talent offensively. You need to make sure that defense continues to improve. Good offensive line. Protect him. But you need a better coach. I think Raheem Morris, losing that game yesterday should have been enough. But if they wait to the end of the year, I think that's the next best move. Because that'd be a highly prized job, too.
The division stinks, too. I mean, I'd maybe put a little respect on Carolina, but the Saints are one of the worst teams in the NFL. Tampa's good, but, like, there was no reason this year for the Falcons to be worse than the Panthers, right? Like, the Falcons, with what they have defensively and what they have offensively, they should have been better than the Panthers. That's why I put it on the coaching staff. I mean, give credit to Bryce Young. He's been Jekyll and Hyde all year, 2 for 400 yards. You know, I wrote him off.
He was
a lot
great.
of people,
Yes,
I famously have written him off. I still don't think he could play. But it'd be stupid for me to sit here and say it wasn't a great game and he hasn't done good things this year. So shame on the Falcons for not being that second team in that division. Kyle, you say enough should have been with that game on Sunday. I agree. And I think the proof's in the pudding that you're third in one of the worst divisions in football. You're third in the NFC South. I mean, this isn't the NFC West. This isn't bad. 3 years ago, the AFC North, where you had 3 playoff teams. That's not the case here. This is the NFC South, which has historically been a bad division, especially this year.
Yeah, and they don't have all the draft capital in the world. This has to work. This ragtag group of guys has to work. The Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Algier, Michael Penix. This core offensively has to work, and if it doesn't, then you're starting from scratch. You're not necessarily inputting in a couple players here and there, fine. But you're not changing anything at its core because there's so much investment into it. You invested a first-round pick into Bijan. You invested a first-round pick into Michael Penix. You invested 2 first-round picks into 2 edge rushers, Walker and Pierce on the defensive side. This has to work. At some point, something has to change, and I think that the next best move is you have an unsure head coach who has coached head coach for 6 years amongst here in Tampa Bay and has had 1 winning season. I don't think this is the biggest good riddance thing I've ever seen. I think that I'm more than happy to move on from this. Go get another coach in there. That's their best move. And Carolina, what a ride.
I'm still not ready to tell you. I mean, gosh. Between them, Kyle, they knocked me out of the Survivor with a loss to the Saints at home.
You should have asked me about it. You should have asked me, Mike. I've known this.
And then they win that game.
Mike, I told you.
I hate that team.
Mike,
I can't stand that team.
Mike, they lost 40-9 to the Bills, and then the week after they won at Lambeau.
It's unbelievable. That is unbelievable. How does that team have 6 wins? How are you going to cash that ticket? How are you cashing that 6.5 this year?
Because it's
unbelievable.
It's a ride.
A ride. That's free money. That was free money.
We're not even at Thanksgiving. I'm going to hit it.
Unbelievable. Dave Canales, who I thought would be out of a job at the end of this year.
He could coach. He's not an every week guy.
Are we sure they're losing games by 35 points?
Mike, would you rather go be 6-5 and lose all
your
losses?
I want consistency. Don't you want consistency?
Mike, baby steps.
Oh, my God. Baby steps.
You're being unfair.
Baby steps. You lost by 2 scores at home to the worst team.
I didn't do anything. I wasn't involved. I'm just here for the ride, Mike. I see what they are. I respect that group. I do. And that's they got Ted McMillan, a rookie, Rico Dowdle, a second fiddle back, Bryce Young, and the power of friendship. Jalen Coker, Leggetti. Don't have a ton of guys, but they have a good offensive line, good enough offensive line, and a halfway decent defense. Sign me up. Not consistent. Fine. That was a fun game. Good for Bryce Young. 400 yards. Good for him. I root for him. I root for him. Seems like a decent guy. And he's dealt a bad hand. He's weathering quite a storm. That is Carolina. Now, keep in mind, Mike, Carolina was up there with the Browns and, the Jets as the worst organizations in the NFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they had a terrible owner. They couldn't keep a coach around. They had Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold both on the roster, both have big contracts with other teams. That was as bad as it gets. Yeah. And they are looking like this.
Well, I think
this is gold comparatively to what they're used to.
Even last year, when Bryce Young, looked like, he got benched. For all intent, the guy got benched.
They benched their first overall player, and they ended up playing a little bit better towards the end of the year, and they've rolled it into this year. Good for Carolina. That's a fun team to root for. Now, don't bet them next week. You know what their game is next week? They got the 49ers on Monday Night Football on the road.
That's a 40-point loss.
They're going to lose by 100 points. That's going to be 55-7. All right? That's going to be 55-7. Everyone's going to be questioning, how does this team have 6-5? Then they're going to go to the next week and they're going to win because that's what Carolina does. They do not stack games. It's fine. They don't stack games.
Are you buying them in the playoff picture? They're in the hunt.
No.
Kyle, they are. I saw on,
Mike, they're going to be 9-8. They're going to be 8-9 or 9-8.
Colin is a miserable Brown fan. My buddies and I always joked around. As long as we're technically still, quote, in the hunt on those graphics we see on Sunday, the season's not over. Dude, Carolina's not only in the hunt, they're alive and well in the hunt at 6-5 in the NFC.
Not a terrible schedule. It's fine. We'll
Last
see.
place schedule.
Not that.
Last place schedule.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm on top of it. I love Carolina. Carolina's my overpick, and that's sort of my baby because I'm going to win Denver. I'm not dead yet with Green Bay. I'm still alive in Survivor, and I got Carolina, and then I need Miami to lose another game.
Hang on. You really want to give Green Bay the benefit of the doubt after they almost lost to Jameis Winston? That was a rough game. That team's. I almost said it. I almost said Green Bay stinks. I'm almost there. To be fair, I'm almost. I think the Bears. I know one thing, at least right now, in my opinion. Bears and Lions. I know the Lions just lost. Fine. I think those two teams are better than Green Bay.
I don't know how you could say that about the Bears when the Bears were doing the exact same thing as the Packers. The Packers just had part of teams they've played. Like, they've done the exact same thing. They're winning these godforsaken games every single week.
The issue with the Bears is that defense. I don't know what the hell happened to that defense. The defense was supposed to be like the strong point of the team. They're damn near playing them out of some of these games. So I'll listen to you there. Zaz said it, and I agree. I'm not a Jordan Love guy. And granted, Kyle, you've known this for a while. I mean, geez, this is episode 300. I'm not a Jordan Love guy. I'd rather have Caleb Williams than Jordan Love. I do. Guess I'm at that point.
I don't disagree. I think Green Bay's probably a better roster. But, hey, Chicago keeps winning these games. Speaking of Chicago, I mean, yesterday it was an ugly game. Bears-Vikings 19-17. They were able to put Cairo Santos into position to hit a field goal. They have now won basically the last 3 games within 5 points. They escaped the Saints game. They lost to the Ravens in bad fashion. They just beat the Commanders, barely escaped. They barely escaped the Raiders. They got killed by the Lions. They took care of the Cowboys. They played every game close, and they got a tough finish to the schedule. But the good news is the Bears could very well, with no Rodgers on Sunday against the Steelers, perhaps, they could very easily be 8-3 with a tough last 6 games remaining where they just need 2. They just need 2. So I don't know how I feel about Chicago, but I do know that winning close games is a skill.
Now, Kyle, pull up that playoff picture because we said earlier on the NFC side, 10 wins will get you in the AFC. You think that's going to be the same thing on the NFC side with that last spot?
10 wins and tiebreakers will get you in.
Okay.
Right?
And that's the confusing part for the average listener, I feel like, are the tiebreakers and who beats who and all that stuff. So, like, just for clarification, you're in if you win your division, okay? If you win your division, you're in. After that comes the wild card. And what Kyle means by those wild cards, by the tiebreakers, is that what'd you do head-to-head? What'd you do head-to-head? And, Kyle, what is it after that? Do you
Conference.
So there you go. It's what it's going to come down to. There are a lot of teams right now, I feel like, in the mix on the NFC side comparatively to the AFC side. You got that 7th spot on the AFC side. Houston, right now, you got Kansas City, and then Jacksonville.
Chargers and Jacksonville.
I mean, those are the teams there. Comparatively, the NFC probably has stronger teams on the back end.
The NFC West has 3 teams, and the NFC North has 3 teams.
Right.
So that all of a sudden, right then and there, those are 4 teams fighting for 3 spots. Then you got an odd man out, and that includes Carolina, who might throw the biggest wrench in the mix in the history of throwing a wrench in the mix, because now they're 6-5. If they could all of a sudden get 3 more wins on the schedule, now they have a tougher schedule.
Hang on, you just told me that Carolina can't string together games, so they'll win 8-9 games.
They won't.
They'll win 8-9 games.
They'll steal one against Buccaneers. They'll steal one. They got the next good game, Mike. The Rams.
You think that's the game,
Mike? Their next big game. Because they have they're going to lose by 100 points to the Niners, and then they play the Rams.
And you think they win the Ram game and get you your 7 wins?
I'll tell you, Sean McVay is nervous about that game.
Oh, my God. Is it in L.A.?
It's in Carolina.
Oh, boy. Well, they can't – hang on. I can't take that serious because, dude, they lost to the Saints. They lost to Tyler Shuck.
I mean, they lost to the Bills. The Bills game was at home. They lost 40-9.
I hate that team. Oh, they knocked us out of the millions, brother. I can't do that Carolina team, man. That is, dude. And then to make things worse, Colin, on my algorithm on Instagram, I ran into this guy named Carolina Mike and some godforsaken song. I'll have to show you in the break. All I have is just, Carolina.
He sings?
He like sang the song, like for context, Nate Burleson and the NFL Network, like they had him on the Saints week. They had him on the field. He sang his song at one of the bigger tailgates in Charlotte. I'm surprised you haven't seen this, you being a Carolina guy. They're all over my algorithm, so I can't get away from this godforsaken team.
You're looking at Seattle, San Francisco, Green Bay, and Detroit fighting for 3 spots. That's what the NFC spot looks like. And all those teams play each other towards the end of the year. So one team's going to have to be left out, and Green Bay and Detroit probably have the harder schedules comparatively because they still have to deal with each other, and then the Lions still have the Rams on the schedule. But that's what the NFC looks like. But in just going back to the games that we saw yesterday, Week 11, another game I wanted to get your thoughts on that we haven't talked about too much is Darnold. Darnold against the Rams, 21-19 final score. 61-yard field goal goes wide right by Jason Myers to finish off. Darnold has 4 interceptions. They were very conservative throughout the game. He still somehow got them down the field with a chance to win the game at the end. And the Rams, it was an ugly game, but it was a game that the Rams are very fortunate, in my opinion, that they were able to win because that had stolen game written all over it towards the end. I was curious in your thoughts on Seattle and if your perspective on them has shifted.
I think it speaks to how good of a team they are. It speaks how good of a well-run and oiled machine that they are to only lose by 2 when your quarterback throws 4 interceptions. And you worry about Darnold. That's the big worry. The big worry is Darnold in the big spot. And if you want to go back to the playoff game that they played in that building, by the way, because keep in mind, the Vikings won 14 games last year and did not win their division. So they had to go.
Remember, that game was in Arizona because of the wildfires.
So, yeah, West Coast. On the way, we'll call it a road game, okay? And granted, the Rams don't have any fans. Whatever. They had to go. They wasn't in their building. All right, let's just say that. And Darnold played very bad. You worry about Darnold in a big spot. On the flip side of things, too, you can say the same thing about Goff, who in a big spot. So like, that's kind of where I'm at with Darnold. You got to show up in the bigger spots, and he hasn't done that. But the fact of the matter is still, Seattle's 7-3. They're going to be a playoff team, and they have one of the best receivers in the league in Jackson Smith-Njigba. Great running game with Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet. Great offensive line and a great defense. If they figure out a way to unlock Sam Darnold in some of these big games, they could go on a run. But I would still put the Eagles, and I would still put the Rams over. Yeah, and like, I love Tampa Bay. I thought Tampa Bay showed some guts on the road. I know they ultimately ended up losing that game to Buffalo. It's a tough game to play.
Yeah, they were 5-1. Now they're 6-4.
It's like I kind of even want to put Tampa Bay in that conversation with Seattle, but right now I'll keep them at 3. But big takeaways is that Darnold played horrible, and they still almost won the game. It shows that they play with a little guts and that they're actually a good football team.
They didn't need that game. They had to split. Right?
They did. Well, they won earlier. They won earlier in the year. At home, I believe.
No, they have one more game. That was the first time they played.
They beat San Francisco.
Yes.
That's a division game I was thinking of at home. But they're still, if they take care of business within the division, they still got their whole season ahead of them and a possibly playoff home game later on down the line.
That division will be decided if you win your other games.
Are you? I say I'm worried about Darnold. You got to be worried about Darnold at this point.
A little worried, yeah, because you get to 2. 2 can be written off as a fluke. 3 is a little bit of a pattern, and I allude to the Lion game, the last game of the year, when it was 2-14 and 3 teams fighting for a division. And on top of that, then you had the Ram game where they couldn't score. Now, one game that Darnold does not get credit for is that, week 17 when they played the Packers, and they won 27-24, something like that. Darnold played a good game then. He had like 400 yards. So he's had moments, but now another big game where he hasn't played that well. I wouldn't call fire, but I would say that you have big game players and you don't let Darnold be the guy that kind of hinders you because he plays great in every other game. So you got to give him credit because just one game should not derail your opinion on him because a great body of work has been put together outside of this specific week.
Kyle, pending Darnold and him maybe playing the Seahawks out in a big spot, all right, pending that. I had the Eagles, the Rams, and the Seahawks as serious contenders. I think Tampa Bay, believe it or not, is probably maybe a year away, a free agency away from seriously competing for Super Bowl. I think they can win a game.
They're health away.
That too. I think they're going to have a home game. Can they win in a game in the playoffs? Sure. But I think the 3 actual Super Bowl contenders are in Philadelphia, Los Angeles, and that's why I said pending Darnold. I have them at a 3. I have Seattle at a 3. It's just because of the team that they have and how good they are everywhere else. And like Darnold, let's remember the game against the Commanders. Now, the Commanders stink, but he had 4 first-half touchdowns. Like, if you could get that Darnold in a big spot, that team could be the best in the NFC.
They got a little conservative. It sounded like they were trying to, hold back because they got tight in a big game.
But like, as much as I want to sit here and say the Bears are a title contender, Tampa Bay, like that's I don't think that they can make it all the way to the Super Bowl. The 3 teams I'm buying stock in right now are Philly with, they obviously the champions of last year, the Rams with Stafford, the quarterback playing at an MVP level, won a Super Bowl, the coach won a Super Bowl, and then Seattle, just because, as I said, the whole body of work of the team, offensively, defensively, and even special teams.
I'm still not out on Detroit. I'm still not.
I am. Something always happens with that team. Listen, I love Dan Campbell. I want him to coach my team. But it's just like, you saw last year in the playoffs, you lost to a rookie quarterback because the quarterback played you out. The year before, San Francisco, you're up 2 scores to almost 3 scores at halftime, and you blew that game. And now this year, you're struggling with your division, and you're in 3rd place in the division right now. Something that's just, I feel bad for Detroit fans because it seems like they finally climbed out of being one of the worst teams in the history of the league year in and year out.
Yeah, they're definitely in a funk.
And now it's like, God, what's going to happen next? We have this great roster, but something always keeps happening. Now, give Campbell credit. Something happened. It was in the playoffs where something happened. Now it's leaking into the regular season.
It was one of those games yesterday, that Lion-Eagle game, where they were 0 for 5 on 4th down. 3 of them, they were in field goal range, especially in the second half, and they did not take points. It's one of those games where you sort of overcoach, overthink, and I think it burned them at the end because if they kicked those 2 field goals there, and it's not like field goals were unheard of to be hit in the wins. You're capable. Elliott did it. So because of that, I would say that they probably left some points on the board, which makes me a little annoyed because it.
And Goff was horrible, brother.
Goff was terrible.
He was terrible, and I hate to nitpick him.
He was frazzled. He was frazzled.
It's like it's why I've been telling you for almost almost a year and a half now. They've been in a big spot. I don't trust the guy.
Hold on. The one thing about Goff is the way to beat him. Everybody's known this since he has been drafted. Is you got to get to him. If you get to him, you will beat him, and that is what they did. They were in Goff's grill the entire. That defensive line and the linebackers were in his grill the entire game. Batted balls down, hitting him after the pass. He was just uncomfortable the entire way. And then all of a sudden he's frazzled, and then Goff getting frazzled is pretty apparent. That's what you saw. When they're not buzzing offensively, they're very beatable.
There was one player buzzing on the field, and that was Jahmyr Gibbs. Gibbs was...
he's great. He's such a great player.
Out of this world. Dan Campbell was calling plays. You think maybe you try to give him the ball. No, they try to do their due diligence.
It does seem like that offense
stuff.
loses such a considerable step when they put in Montgomery, and they have, because they do the one drive on, one drive off. They have one drive with David Montgomery, then they have one full drive with Jahmyr Gibbs. I always just see such a glaring, a lot of the times, such a glaring step back in explosion when they don't go Jahmyr Gibbs on the drive. Maybe they're just saving him for the postseason, keeping him healthy and fresh. I get it, but I do notice that.
No.
And I do think they should honestly work to implement him more than Montgomery.
I think they miss Ben Johnson a lot more than they miss Aaron Glenn as well.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think they missed the offensive coordinator compared to the D coordinator. Forgive me, I don't know the name. They said his name 1,000 times on the broadcast, and I forget Detroit's defensive coordinator. But he's done a good enough job. I think the story of that game too, bud. They stopped the tush push not once, but twice. They stopped it on 3rd down. They were going to run it again on 4th late in that game. False start. Philly punts. Then Philly gets the ball back because Goff, they couldn't do anything. They get the ball back. Sirianni goes for it on their own 30. And they stuffed them. I thought that was a big storyline, too. Sirianni was bamboozled when that play didn't work on that 4th down.
Yeah, I'm not out in Detroit. I still have faith in them. Too much talent. And I like Campbell. When we want to yell at Campbell for overcoaching in the 4th downs, then all of a sudden he wins 3 big games, and then we forget about his woes. This is the Dan Campbell thing you're going to get. Win or lose, he is going to be aggressive, and he is going to take risks on 4th down. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat. We'll get into some of our best bets, our underdogs of the weekend on the other side of things, see where we could have made some money over the weekend, get into a little Monday Night Football action. Stay tuned. It's the fifth quarter presented by Hard Rock Bet on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
What's the Anajar and Levine difference? When you're injured in a car crash, we focus on your case so you can focus on the one thing that matters most, getting better. I'm Glenn Levine with Anajar and Levine. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation, 1-800-747-FREE. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike. I don't know whether to cheer, scream, or cry. This season has me on an emotional roller coaster. Every game's a thrill ride, and I'm living it, breathing it, and hearing it all on ESPN 106.3.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Good Greek moving and storage. Your superhero movers.
Come to Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach, where we're changing the game. No pushy salespeople, just friendly product specialists on salary, ready to help you find your perfect Kia. During the Kia Season of New Traditions sales event, save up to $11,000 off MSRP on select new Kias. We even put the factory invoice right on the windshield so you can see exactly what you're saving. No back and forth, just one manager from start to finish for a smooth, easy process. We'll handle your paperwork, transfer your tag and insurance, and even schedule a post-delivery review to walk you through your new features on your time. Can't make it in? We'll bring the test drive to you. So don't wait. Visit Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach today. No hassle, no pressure, just the perfect car for you. Online at GreenwayKiaWestPalmBeach.com.
We want to see ya in a Greenway Kia.
With approval through KF8 stock number SG005991. MSRP $45,235 plus tax, tag, and $9.99 admin fee. Discount includes all Kia factory rebates to dealer. Offers don't combine. Expires 1/5/26.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
At St. Lucie Battery and Tire, batteries came before tires. We've been selling and servicing all types of batteries for over 50 years. So when you need a battery for nearly anything, we have it, as well as the fast professional installation you need. We carry premium batteries for all your needs: automotive, commercial, marine, RV, and specialty. We also offer delivery and on-site installation, serving our customers quality products for over 50 years in the home of honest, reliable service. Go to slbt.com and book your next appointment.
Celebrate the most wonderful time of the year at the Gardens Mall. Santa has arrived and is available for photos during all mall hours now through December 24th. Make a reservation today at whereissanta.com. Don't forget to swing by the Kids Corner Holiday Shop to let the kiddos pick out gifts for their favorite people. All proceeds benefit the Arc of Palm Beach County. For your shopping convenience, the Gardens Mall will be extending their hours during the holiday season. Visit thegardensmall.com for the full schedule.
Overtime intensity meets non-stop debate.
Hey guys, that's a embarrassment out there.
This is the fifth quarter, presented by Hard Rock Bet.
All right, this is all alleged. I saw this on 1010XL, which is the Jacksonville Sports Radio, but according to Pete Nakos, who works for, is it On3?
Yeah.
On3, Ole Miss is looking for clarity about Lane Kiffin's future with the team this week. They have reportedly have a deadline for his decision, And this comes in light of the reports that Kiffin's family have visited Gainesville, Baton Rouge. And if Kiffin does not meet their deadline, Ole Miss could potentially decide to not allow him to coach the Rebels in a college football playoff game, according to On3's Brett McMurphy. Is that the right move?
No, ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That's like...
I understand them wanting a decision.
It's like a high school girl going up to a guy, hey, I saw you talking to these other two girls. You're not allowed to talk to them if you want to go to the dance with me. Like this, like...
No, I'm saying you got to put a ring on the finger.
Even that. Like, all right, if we want to take it a step further, yeah. But, like, I told Christian in the break, like, I think this is a bunch of millionaire egos getting kind of, not – what's the opposite of brushed? Like, I think their feelings are hurt that he rather
Bruised.
– there you go. I think their feelings are hurt. A couple of Ole Miss people's feelings are hurt that he might want to go to LSU and leave a good thing right now at Ole Miss. But at the end of the day, I'm sorry, Ole Miss. LSU's a bigger job. Florida's probably a bigger job. Like, Ole Miss is Ole Miss because of the coach right now. You weren't having this success when Hugh Freeze was there. This is the most success Ole Miss has had since Eli Manning. Eli Manning was 2 decades ago, Kyle. So that's why I can't take this serious. You're going to give the guy who got you to this point an ultimatum? That's a joke. That's an absolute joke. And it's not even him doing it.
But then Ole Miss is also, to play it on Defiant a little bit, then they're going to be sitting there with their pants down if and when Lane Kiffin just decides to hightail out of town on January 3rd.
No, that's the gig. That's what you sign up for.
But that's what
what happens.
We talk about these coaches having a ton of leverage.
So
this
what?
This is the school attempting to regain some of that leverage.
So what, bro? You're going to do this, and then you're not going to have a coach in the playoff? And you're going to have some assistant who's probably unqualified to be the head coach?
I agree. I don't know how you clear that with the players. I don't know how the players.
And then even the fan base. I much rather think, like, obviously the fan base is going to be mad if he leaves. Well,
I mean,
one way or another.
The thing is, if they don't allow him to coach, he's not staying there. He's going to be in LSU colors.
But
what I'm saying,
game. What are the fans going to say when you have a chance to win a national championship? If you make the college football playoff, you have a chance at the national championship, and you're not going to let the coach who got him to that point coach the games? It's ridiculous to me. And if I were an Ole Miss fan, I'd rather have Lane play it out this year and then leave rather than just, we found out he wants to go here and leave. I'd rather have him finish what he started this year, no? That's my perspective.
I agree with that. If he's going to leave regardless, then you already have a decision. This is like you're trying to handcuff him. Because if he's already planning on leaving, either you could succeed with Lane while he's here potentially and then he leaves, or if Lane's mind is set on LSU or Florida, your ultimatum is not changing that decision. It's not changing anything. Either he wants to stay or he doesn't. So if you're going to sit here and say, well, you have to sign this fat 10-year extension if you want to coach in the college football playoff, Lane's going to leave. And it's going to hurt the player. It's going to hurt the fan. They're going to be pissed off. And all of a sudden, the school is going to look like idiots. But if you were to let him, if he's going to leave anyway, then Lane will be a villain around Oxford, and at least they have the season to bank on. You're just going to have to figure out the next head coach. But if this is Ole Miss just trying to act, we're trying to figure out the next. If it's not going to be you, we need to figure out the next guy. That's what Ole Miss is probably trying to do. They don't want to be on January 10th looking for a head coach because that's an impossible spot.
But my pushback, God forbid you worry about the now where you're a one-loss football team and you're going to be in the SEC championship.
That's where the calendar stinks because the transfer portal is going to be open by then. Staffs are going to be built. There's a reason that James Franklin just signed that contract and beat Virginia Tech. He can put together a staff, and I think it's December 1st that the transfer portal actually opens, and all of a sudden he can put together a roster. If you play Ole Miss and you're playing in that quarterfinal on New Year's Day, then all of a sudden January 2nd you're at LSU, and then we're trying to find a new coach. Tricky spot. I understand both sides, but this is the school. There's no way this is gonna play out with the school looking good. There's no way, good or bad.
Do you think Lane leaves after hearing this? Do you think there's any fire to the smoke right now?
I don't think anything the school could have done changes his mind, good or bad. I don't think them trying to handcuff Lane changes their mind. I don't think the school trying to put an ultimatum on him changes his mind. I think his mind has been made up for 2 or 3 weeks, whether that's to leave or to stay. And I don't think what's happening right now changes things. No. I don't. I think he's going to leave or he's not. And I think you're just expediting that process if you're Ole Miss.
Ole Miss is upset that they would leave their SEC school for greener pastures. But we agree Florida and LSU are probably better jobs than Ole Miss.
Definitely LSU. I'm not sure about Florida. But definitely Ole Miss. I mean, LSU. Definitely LSU.
I would agree with that. And I'm not so gung-ho on the Florida job like others are just because of the turnover we've seen at the position.
It's a lot more pressure.
Yeah, and since Herb left, I mean, this is going to be the 9th head coach announced here within the next couple of months.
I'm still putting money on Lane staying, though, even after this.
Why would he
leave? His family's taking a couple paid vacations to Baton Rouge and Gainesville, go see a game. Fine. All right.
It's just like, why? Lane finally found a home. And I'm sure this is what the Ole Miss faithful is relaying to Kiffin is that you didn't work out here. You didn't work out here. You finally found a home here. Let us give you $10 million. Let us, as ridiculous as this sounds, let us give you $10 million a year so you could stay and continue what you built. There's something to be said. Lane would be the best coach in the history of the program if they do stuff. I mean, my ignorance is showing about the great, Ole Miss. Like, if they won if Lane won a national championship there, he'd immediately
They'd build a statue.
Exactly. So, like, I don't know. I rather selfishly, from someone who likes Lane a lot, I'd rather see him stay there and build a legacy there than go to one of the other schools.
Yeah, I think that no good relationship has ever had an ultimatum. I think that sealed it for Lane. He's like, okay,
you're right.
Unless he was already set on staying. If he's set on staying, he's just like, I need to make a decision. I don't think.
But if he's set on staying, I feel like a deal would have been struck already.
Perhaps, but this is all a leverage game. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe he's trying to strategically place when he's going to announce the extension. I'm hanging around. Maybe he'll do it right before the playoff.
I think he's going to call their bluff. They're going to be in the playoff. They're going to have a very good chance to make a run here. That program is not going to strong harm him out.
And good luck getting the next coach. When you bench the first one in a playoff spot, good luck getting the next guy.
Out of literal spite?
Get the next guy. Good luck getting the next guy.
It's ridiculous.
There's no way the school looks good anyway coming out of this, unless Lane wants to stay.
Millionaires' egos that are bruised because they're
go ahead. If this doomsday scenario for Ole Miss fans does happen, where not only does Lane Kiffin leave, but he leaves before the playoff, the school looks bad in everyone's eyes, right? Not just Ole Miss fans. Like, I think nationally, people take Lane's side here, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
Most likely.
I do.
Or maybe they just blame the system.
The system's bad. I can agree that the coaches have too much leverage. He is operating on his own wavelength. The schools have this much money paid up front to him. And now all of a sudden they have to make a decision on getting an answer because now with the transfer portal and how these windows and staffs are built, you're looking at a big rebuild year if you're going to have to find a new coach on January 4th.
This is like when I say that's what you sign up for, Kyle, to Christian's point, that's the system.
Hey, it's too much leverage. Hey, the coach got too much.
So that's like a mid-major. So for the sake of the argument, who's the mid-major in the mix that's not named Navy? Who's like a mid-major that's in the
North
mix?
Texas.
Okay, so let's say North Texas. They're in the playoff, but there's rumors that he wants to go take a Power 5 gig. That's like them saying, no, you've got to sign this deal with us or you're not coaching the big game.
I guess, but Ole Miss can be known as a finisher job. Nobody's looking at North Texas.
Well, Lane can make
it,
and the only reason it is where it's at is because of the coach. That's why I find it ridiculous that they're giving the guy who put him on this national stage an ultimatum. It's ridiculous. They should be thanking Lane, in my opinion.
But when he leaves, when he leaves at the end of the year, that's when the school's going to be put in a tough
You're not
spot.
Alabama. You're not Ohio State. You're not Michigan. Like I feel like as hard as this, because every SEC school thinks they're the best SEC school. I understand that. But, like, Ole Miss needs to know their place, honest to God. In all intents and purposes, they need to know their place. They're lucky to have Lane. They're lucky to have Kiffin right now.
I don't disagree. There's no way that this is going to look good for them coming out. If this is true. This is all alleged.
Yep.
Mike Rizzo, Colin Rizzo, Christian Cat. On the other side of things, we'll put together our best underdogs in our Monday's best bet. Looking ahead to Monday Night Football tonight. Stay tuned. It's the fifth quarter presented by Hard Rock Bet on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Get ready, South Florida. It's the 12th annual Boca Raton Bowl. Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 p.m. at FAU's Flagler Credit Union Stadium. Two of the best group of 5 teams go head-to-head in the ultimate holiday showdown. Over 150 players have gone from this field to the NFL. Who's next? Visit BocaRatonBowl.com for the latest, including when tickets will go on sale. The 12th annual Boca Raton Bowl, Tuesday, December 23rd, 2 p.m. at Flagler Credit Union Stadium.
Does your business leave a lasting impression? Attractive, eye-catching signs help you stand out from the crowd and create a strong brand identity. Our team at Signorama West Palm are experts in helping your business get noticed and get effective signage in front of your potential customers. Our team can turn your blank windows or plain vehicles into money-making branding machines by drawing customers' attention to your business. So if you're looking to leave that lasting impression, call us 561-687-7993 or visit SignoramawPB.com.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
The Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, an affiliate of the Palm Beach Health Network, is committed to delivering high-quality care to the communities they serve. Their award-winning physicians and specialists provide a level of expertise that has resulted in regional firsts and outstanding patient outcomes. For a physician referral, call 866-654-2362. To learn more about the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, visit pbhnphysiciangroup.com, pbhnphysiciangroup.com to get in touch with the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group.
Ready to take on any terrain? The all-new 2025 Defender 110 P300S is here. Built for those who crave adventure without compromising on luxury. Lease the powerful 2025 Defender 110 P300S for just $849 per month for 36 months. Whether you're tackling the toughest roads or cruising the city, the Defender is ready for it all. Don't wait. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and experience the Defender like never before. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
The countdown to kickoff is on, and the road to the national championship runs through Miami. Don't miss the ultimate New Year's Day celebration. The college football playoff quarterfinal at the Capital One Orange Bowl kicks off at Hard Rock Stadium on Thursday, January 1st at noon. The Capital One Orange Bowl. History happens here. For tickets, visit orangebowl.org.
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or bradleyair.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
The game's in the books, but the story isn't finished. This is the 5th quarter, presented by Hard Rock Bet.
The 5th quarter presented by Hard Rock Bet on ESPN 106.3. So what we can do is figure out how we could have made a little money with Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Cat. Over the weekend, you had a couple big underdog wins. And let's have some fun with it. Let's do our underdog picks. I'll put together a parlay presented by Hard Rock Bet. All right. From the weekend, Oklahoma on the road at Alabama was definitely a big underdog. Their money line, plus 205 to win that game outright. Add it to the parlay, Christian.
Counted.
Yeah, that was a big game for Oklahoma too, Cal. Huge game. Their end of the season is favorable to them. They're probably a better team than everyone lined up. They should be a college football playoff team after winning that.
How about another big one?
Back-to-back years, by the way.
Our troops, Navy, took down USF, knocked them out of probably the playoff, the American consideration for that championship game. They were plus 280 to win outright. They won 41-38. Add that. That's a big one under. Wow.
My dad, who's in the Air Force, he faded Navy in that game.
He hates Navy?
Yeah, he faded Navy on the live line. He ended up winning. He covered the plus 8.5 eventually when Navy was up by a bunch. I said, you betrayed your brethren like that?
Wow.
And he goes, yeah. I was like, all right, cold-hearted.
All right, here is a big one, too. The Broncos at home were plus 190 to beat the Chiefs. Straight up. 22-19 final score. Plus 190 was the money line. Add that to the parlay. And I'm thinking the last one, going a couple different directions, but, they're the theme of the show, Carolina. Carolina to beat the Falcons were plus 190 on the money line. How about that?
It's a big win. Like we said, coming off that bad loss to the Saints.
Changes the perception of their season a little bit. All right, well, playoffs? A little faint whisper in that Carolina building. That's 4 teams right there, Christian. What do you like there? What do we have?
4-team, very manageable money line underdog parlay. Your cup of coffee parlay. Just put that in a Hard Rock bet instead. Gets you almost $500. $482.36. I wish I did that for sure. When I went to the Jaguars game, they geolocate you and gave me a free $10 bonus bet.
Nice.
When I was
You're in the
at
building?
Yeah. They do the same thing, I believe, at Panthers games, too.
Yeah, that's where I'm pro government can track us because that's bonus bets.
God forbid something happens to you, too. I mean, geez, to be able to find you.
And that $10 bonus bet made me enjoy the blowout that took place in Jacksonville.
Yep.
Because
any Charger fans there?
You know what? There were.
Yeah.
There were, and they had nothing to cheer about, so you heard them in the pregame announcements, and you saw them around downtown, because me and my dad just went to a local sports bar, and that's where you see the away fans, because they don't have a tailgate that they're used to. So they're at the local bars. So there were a fair amount of Chargers fans there.
Justin
I was pretty
Herbert
impressed.
hates that building. Hates that building.
He's a brother. I know us finding out at the same time.
Yeah, they signed him in the middle of part of the season. I've never seen him before in my entire life, and I'm a Jaguar fan. I'm like, who is that man?
Yeah.
It was Justin Herbert's brother who's like a doppelganger. Acts and talks like him.
What does he play?
He's tight end.
Is any good?
I've never seen him on the field.
Where'd he go?
I don't know.
I don't even know what school he
This guy.
Who the hell is this guy?
This guy spawned.
Christian, who the hell is this
He
man?
spawned this week. I've never seen him before. I've never seen in my life the Jacksonville Jaguars signing him. He must have been at practice squad elevation.
Can I, boys, can I take a victory lap with our good friends at Hard Rock Bet?
Yeah.
My parlay of the weekend that I make on social media hit plus 1,200. It was Broncos plus 3.5, Eagles minus 2.5, Bills minus 5, and Ohio State minus 33.5.
That's a fun bet.
That hit.
It's funny. All those NFL picks that you made there were all of my picks on the Cover 5 contest. Like those are my favorite bets too this weekend.
Yeah, Colin didn't let me take the Broncos. We took the Chiefs in that game instead.
He would have gotten 4 points out of it. What else did we
you're
take?
right. You're
He would
right,
have gotten
bud.
4 points.
You're right, bud.
What do you guys want to have some action on tonight? Best
Monday Night
bets.
Football bet presented by Hard Rock Bet. What are you thinking?
It's got to be Dallas. We're on Dallas with our contest bets that Christian was mentioning.
Only
Anyway,
reason I could get behind this is because we need Dallas to be halfway decent for the holiday games.
Now, Kyle, I looked at our good friends at Hard Rock Bet and where the money is at. Everyone is taking Dallas, Christian.
Yeah. Minus 3.5 on the app. Over under is 48.5.
Everybody is on Dallas, which screams Vegas, but we got no choice but to ride with the Dallas
Screams
Cowboys.
Vegas in more ways than one, right?
Yeah.
Screams Vegas is confident where that line is
Correct.
and they're not moving it.
And also the odds makers that are based in Las Vegas. And obviously with our good friends at Hard Rock Bet, it's like, geez, oh man, you got to go with them. You hope that, to Colin's credit, the Cowboys are going to be in big games. So, we want these games to mean something. I'm with Colin when he always says, I root for the best game. Listen, Colin and I root for 2 pretty miserable franchises. Now, his team is on the urge of a playoff berth, but mine isn't. And I am rooting this year for the best matchups. Let's hope that Dallas is able to win tonight.
Yeah, I want the holiday games to be good. That's what I care about.
Ooh, there's a 30% Monday night parlay boost right now on Hard Rock Bet.
30% on the app. Plus, I like a couple things. We're taking Dallas, so that's minus 3.5. Another bet I like is Jake Ferguson over on receiving yards. It's 34.5. 34.5. Jake Ferguson. Sign me up because Jake Ferguson has been one of the better tight ends, at least scoring, but consistently throughout. I like this quite a bit. I like this quite a bit. He's only gotten over 34 yards once in the last 4 weeks, but every week before that he did. So Jake Ferguson over on yards. That's one that I'm hot on. What about you guys? Anything else?
I want to take a look at Dak Prescott. 263. God, it's a lot. I'm going to go over on Dak 263. I think he's going to have a big night. You know, I mentioned they need to get back into the situation of the playoffs and the division. Now, the division's probably gone. No one's catching the Eagles. But they need to try to make the playoffs. You know, that tie is doing them no helps either. They need to win tonight. Give me Dak over 263.5 passing yards. I damn near need a 300-yard game for Dak Prescott. But that is plus odds. So I'm going to go with that plus 105 with Dak Prescott.
All right. We've got the spread covered. You guys want the Cowboys. Ferguson, the tight end, over on his receiving yards.
Correct.
Mike, you're contributing Dak Prescott's over passing yards. I'm going to get quirky. I'm going to get weird. I want to start sweating immediately. First team to score, Raiders plus 105.
Wow.
First touchdown score. All right, you go with the Raiders to do this, okay?
And to clarify again, first to score is a touchdown and not a field goal. It's a touchdown.
That's how that works?
I
no,
believe
it just says first team to score.
All right.
Actually, we can't include that in the parlay, so I'm going to change things up.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
False
Well,
alarm.
that's a game special.
What's is there a Brock Bowers anytime? Is that plus odds, Christian?
Ooh,
I don't like that. I don't like that. He was a ghost last week. I don't like that. And I have Brock Bowers on my fantasy team.
How you doing, by the way? I won by 2 points, by the way, in fantasy.
Fantasy team, I'm 8-2 in one of my leagues.
You're rolling.
But I'm more focused on my survivor. I'm one of 6 remaining.
Geno over 1.5 passing touchdowns, minus 115.
All right.
So we're going with him for 2.
Yep. Two passing touchdowns. That's all.
How about that? Okay.
That's it. A little bit, you know.
That's a plus 700 before you get the 30% profit boost on top of that. So that's good odds right there.
Yes.
That's big time money right there on Monday Night Football, and we're going to need a reason to get into the game because there's not a ton of playoff implications on Monday Night Football, but that's what you can take. 4-bet parlay. We have Jake Ferguson over on receiving yards, 34.5. Then Dak Prescott over on passing yards, 263.5. And then Geno Smith somehow to throw 2 passing touchdowns.
Wait.
And to finish it off.
Somehow. Well, you acting like this isn't likely going to happen.
I'm not a Raider guy. But the odds just increased. So one of the odds, we're at plus 800 now.
Whoa.
So something changed pretty dramatically. But we have the Cowboys minus 3.5 too. All right. So there's your. Well, I wonder what changed.
Does that make you afraid now?
Now it means that we're getting better odds.
It just came out that Geno Smith is battling gangrene.
Yeah, right.
It's like, oh, no.
Geno Smith cannot grip the ball.
Yeah.
Plus 800. All right. I like it.
By the way, boys, if we talk about overs and unders with our good friends at Hard Rock Bet on the season, I'm probably going to go 2 and I'm going to go 500. You want to know who's? I bet on the over on those godforsaken Raiders. I bet over 5.5. That ain't going to hit. And then I still blame Joe Fortenbaugh. I still blame Fortenbaugh for the Cardinals. I am somehow, some way on that godforsaken team. And then I took Broncos and Indy on the over.
Yeah, we didn't.
That's going to cash.
Mentioned a little bit about the Panthers side of things, but like Kyler Murray, I'm just trying to think of different NFC teams here. Kyler Murray's out of a job, right?
Probably, most likely. And hang on, somebody didn't bring up about Brissett breaking the 47 completions for Jacoby Brissett.
In a game where they didn't do anything.
Unbelievable. But back to Kyler. Yeah, he's probably out. I don't know where. I mean, Atlanta, then maybe.
Gannon's going to have to make a decision because it's either him or you. And if you want to ride with him again, there's more likely than not that you're going to get the short end of the stick when they have to make a decision. So I think if you could make a decision yourself and you could influence something, are we going to die with Kyler or am I going to die off a guy I could bring in? That's probably what Jonathan Gannon.
Christian, shot in the dark, Atlanta. I mentioned Colin, Atlanta, or could they move on?
That's not a bad idea.
Penix, could they move? Cousins are still paying them all that money, but who knows? Maybe go play in the Dome. Have Kyler go play in the Dome for half of the games a year.
Cardinals just strip this thing down a little bit. Ride with Jacoby Brissett. Every locker room that Jacoby Brissett joins likes Jacoby. There's a reason why he keeps on getting jobs, and he can produce at a certain extent, as we saw, an NFL record holder, which that'll be a trivia question that you'll win at a sports bar in 10 years. They got to reset things there, and I do not think the future involves him.
It's not a great quarterback draft, so you could get something out of Kyler if you're going to trade him. Somebody would pay a premium to get his services because there's not a lot of great quarterbacks, and there's a lot of quarterback-needy teams.
6 months ago saying not a good quarterback draft. Oh, so much has changed.
So much has changed. And the Raiders is another one you could throw out there as well. It's probably too expensive. You'd probably have to dump Geno in some capacity, but you never know. If you don't have a good quarterback pick, that's where the Cardinals should swoop in and float their guy because they're in a lot of trouble with Kyler not being healthy. That's Mike Rizzo. Appreciate Christian keeping us up over the airwaves today. If you miss any of the program, go listen back on Russo and Rizzo, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, 4 to 6 as always. Colin Russo saying so long. See you next time. ESPN 106.3.
The preceding program was paid for in full by Hard Rock Bet. Advice and opinions expressed during this program were solely those of the guests or hosts of this program and not of ESPN 106.3 or Good Karma Brands.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Trans World Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
Kaiser University's flagship campus. The 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 26 national championships, including back-to-back-to-back lacrosse titles, and they just won their first ever national championship for men's tennis. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest on the championship flagship campus of Kaiser University.
This is ESPN 106.3, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Find official rules for all your favorite ESPN West Palm contests by visiting ESPN West Palm Contests